is that physical strength enough for me to
open a pickle jar?
Yeah, exactly. Right. If I'm being a really nice guy, Mr. Andrew Wilson might get a pickle jar opened, but I'm not going to be a nice guy, right? So then, you know, my virtue doesn't or maybe I'm being virtuous to somebody else and not opening the pickle jar for him because I know that I'm being a good guy to the other person, right? So,
and is virtue a true virtue if it's being done just to be perceived as virtuous to the viewer?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It has to be something that's higher.
And we're getting into comedic philosophy, because comedic philosophy would say that you do not get to choose the cosmic order of your creation, your birth, DNA and all these things. The only thing that you're responsible for, thus have the responsibility to choose light or dark, would be how you respond to the given order, like the order you were given.
Thank you. Can I interject a minute? I was going to say, I think that what we're talking about is a pole, and we're talking about opposite ends of a pole. And the one end of the pole is that the universe works the way that it works. It's a mechanical functioning thing. It's a biochemical, electrical, magnetic thing. It works the way it works. And we're individual pieces that were made up of things that work the way they work. But the opposite end of that is chaos, is free will. And the chaos butting up against the way things work is what makes life happen. We are partly captains of our own ship, but we're also partly just riding the sails of what is the way things work.
I like that. Yeah. Man,
that was Miss Balderson. I agree completely.
The great chaos indeed.
I actually wrote in my book, The Great Awakening, which I haven't put out yet. It says, like, we're told and taught, like, to be able to be the captain of your own ship, right? And so you can do one of two things. You can say, okay, I've been given this small ship, but I'm going to be the best damn small ship captain of all time, right? And never challenge yourself to try to become the bigger ship's captain. Or another person says, I'm not even a good captain, but you know what? In this world of captains, I'm going to get the biggest goddamn ship on earth and have someone else captain that thing. But in the ship of life, the unknown thing is the waters, right? And so then we get chaos, right? Regarding whatever, we're going to have to go through the storm, and whether you have a small ship or a big ship, the storm, the earth will give you a storm that's going to make your ship small, regardless of anything, right? And that's why perception comes in.
Wow.
But like, so then what we try to do is rely on our effect and we hold tight, and maybe we start praying to things we've never prayed to before. But on the higher self, we realize.
And check the back.
We realize that we can actually let go, because we realize on the highest level of this existence, we can realize that, in fact, that our mind is creating the storm. And if we take peace within us, we actually calm
El Perro's in back, Omar.
The what?
El Perro's in back.
Oh, back.
There's a second. There's a second. There's a bottom. Let's bring him on. Here we go. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know there was a second line to that. A second.
No problem.
And now you know.
There can even be a third, Omar.
I just wanted to come up. I just wanted to come up because Clay said was talking about the ability to change the world, and I think more so than the ability to change the world, I don't think it's so much that, but the recognition of our ability to change the world, the recognition of actually changing the world in our actions. Because I think a lot of people go around blinded to that part. They don't know how much they actually are changing the world by the little things they do, including voting and things like that. Your vote does count in a fashion, but it doesn't count the way you think it does. And that's the problem. Many people aren't thinking about it in the true reality of what's happening. They just know that, hey, their vote counts, and that's all it matters. And I think
I vote with my gun.
Yeah, literally.
Like exactly. I think
you're saying it literally counts. You're saying it literally counts, but we've been taught to believe, oh, my vote doesn't count. So if you have 1 million people say my vote doesn't count.
Right.
It literally goes to that free will and that effect. If you're not imposing your free will and you're rather denying that and voting, you're actually imposing other people's free will.
right?
Wait, so I mean, what?
I mean, I
on-
think voting's probably the worst example you could use about that. 'cause
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
why?
I knew you were
why-
gonna say something, Ben. I knew you. I knew it already.
Why-
I'm talking about the other aspect that it's not just my singular action in this thing called word, WYRD. It's not just my singular action. It's that we're all interwoven. And so if I, as a minority, am subjected to the majority of people voting, my free will has to be so much stronger to go against that if I know it's wrong.
Yeah.
I have to be aware that that greater populace in their vote is wrong in order
So
for
That
my
is the
free will
difference,
to
the
stand out.
awareness. Right.
Pero,
Exactly,
do you
exactly.
think? Do you
Being
think
aware,
supreme?
conscious.
Pero, do you think supreme authority derives from the mandate of the masses, or something else?
I don't know that you could call it supreme authority, because that would be an objective view that everybody would have to recognize as the same, and nobody does. Everybody believes in this subjective thing that we all have our own authority, and that is supreme, because no man's my daddy.
Interesting, El Perro. Nice to meet you. The prompt for tonight almost was exactly this conversation, and we're doing it like it was what was it, guys? It was black and white magic, but it was
Yeah.
oh, it was good versus evil and black and white magic, and the ritualistic magic, or what is it called?
Yeah.
Egregoric influence, right? Like
Right.
there's
Morphic,
to be able
morphic
to
resonance.
is you can influence Al Mase to tell them they all have a collective power together,
Oh yeah.
or to tell them they have no power. Be lucky I'm here. I have the power. It doesn't matter like the actual thing that's being told. It's the ability to influence and to, in essence, put them under the spell of believing whatever it is you're trying to tell them. Hey, if each of you are weak, but if we come together, then we can be the not, you know what I mean? Or you say
Right.
all of you are nothing without me to make you all something, like the fascist, so we've seen a million different ways that it can be influenced. But again, I agree with what you're saying, that it's the power that you give away to the will of another is how we've gotten into the problems we have now. And for so many times we can blame religions now, but the quote religions and the religious controls are just a few thousand years. But even before that, you did have that major influence over kingdoms and empires. And it was always a battle between the battle between the material existence, just have faith in the emperor or the king, or the battle for what is the soul. And now you turn to the priest the priest and the pope, for example.
Yep.
And that's the battle between mortality and something else, call it the soul, call it eternal life. And each one will put something more important on it. The king will tell you, of course, it's the most important thing that you exist in this reality. You're lucky I let you live. The king tells the lords and the lords tell the peasants. Right. And then the every Sunday they go, and then the Pope, the Archbishop of England will tell them in Latin, whatever the hell he wants to tell them.
I mean, if you're eating good, right? What do you have to complain about? I mean, I'm just saying, like, where does good and evil lie? If whenever you come home at night, you got a table full of food and you got 3 old ladies to go to the bedroom with, right? So those lords and those chieftains and all of that, when it comes to the highest king in the land, as long as he's continually supplying all of that for the knights and all of that, like, obviously they're going to make the choice to continue to do whatever it is the king says.
But the lords were inherited. Lords were like title inherited that was righteous enough to technically be the ruler at some point, but they collectively agreed that this person has the ability better. Now, maybe it was through power, control, or fear of death, or maybe it was they realized that guy's got the better ability to keep those peasants that I'm ruling on a day-to-day basis in order. So it brings chain. The peasants never have anything. The peasants never have anything. And it
brings back the question of the sword thing that you guys were talking about with Conan, right? Where is the power? Is it in the sword? Is it in that strength? Is it in that virtue?
Or
is it in that person?
Asveron's here. The nowhere else has a caste system
it is
has been more implied and controlled than in India, whether it's today or in thousands of years of history. They have a distinct caste system that many people have stayed within that caste system for thousands of years of generations, right, Azrun?
And yes, those people in India should be committing revolution right now. Why are they not committing
because their
revolution?
minds, because that's what I'm trying to say. Because, well, that's what Pero was saying. It was his point. Because their minds have been subordinated.
And I've got a better example on that. Rumpelstiltskin. Remember the story? She had to depend on a higher power to get her out of her servitude, which she lied herself into by going along with the lie. She went along with somebody else's will, her father's will, that she could spin gold. That was her father's will, and that was a wrong thing to do.
Rapunzel was the Rumpelstiltskin was just another jinn, a demon.
Yeah, and it's one of the oldest stories about depending upon a higher power, that supreme authority, because you don't believe in your own.
Hold on, guys. What you got, Azrun? I see your hands up, bro.
Yeah. Regarding this, actually, like even I too have struggled with this concept between free will and God's will. And there was this unknown astrologer. He predicted Biden will win in this election and Trump will win in the other election, actually. And it came true, to be honest. Like, see, there'll be some people who'll want Biden to win, and there'll be some people who'll want Trump to win. But he was able to predict with using planetary alignments that Biden will win in this election and Trump won't get it. Trump will get a second term in the other election. So I too was shocked. And there's this app called Astro Sage on the internet. It's free, actually. Anyone can access it. So I had Biden's birth details and everything, and I put Biden's birth details, his place of birth and time of birth in the app, and then I recorded his whole horoscope, and it came that Biden will become powerful in this particular period, and no one will be able to stop him, and he'll become very famous as well. But obviously, once you become president, you become very famous, and the next time it came that Trump, no enemy of his will be able to shake him, and this time he'll win, actually, when I had Trump's details and put it in that thing, Astro Sage. So looking at this into consideration and taking even my life into consideration, many things that they've predicted have come true. It's not that, see, if someone says something bad about you regarding your predictions, you won't like to believe it, so you'll just hush it away. But when it happens, then you'll recollect and think that, oh, they had predicted something like this and it happened. So even belief has limits, I feel, actually. Like if belief was so powerful, anyone could believe that they're God and they could immediately become as powerful as God. So knowledge is more powerful that way than belief, I feel. You believe only in what is correct, and that makes sense. But if you believe a lie, it's tough to actually make it come true.
But but remember, Caesar was worshipped as a god. Alexander the Great was worshipped as a god. King David was referred to as my Lord Elohim. It's not about you actually becoming the thing in which you claim. It's about other people giving you the belief that you in fact are.
It's about reconciliating power.
You create in the field of their reality to reflect back, to confirm what you said. Abracadabra, what I speak, I create. And they say with a conviction to convince those masses. So then the question is that person really that?
Well, look at the Crusades, right?
In the space between their ears, maybe they thought it, maybe they didn't, but they said with conviction. In this space within the castle, in this space within the country, and if that person takes over the known world, in this space within the whole world, they're God, so to speak, right?
Yeah, but God wills it, right? The Crusades.
No, but the key is they redefine what that word means, right? So when you say, for example, Biden won, I would say, what do you mean by won? Got put in office or won by the actual votes, right? And that there is a large argument for that. And you say Trump, no enemies will be able to defeat him. And I would say, except for the only enemy you ever have to worry about, yourself.
But if that is the case, Shaman Omar, in my case itself, just take my example. I don't want to brag over here. I'm just giving it from an academic perspective. They said that you will eventually have to go back and take care of your father's estate, and no job will suit you. So I thought I'll get some work experience and then start my own business and do something on my own. So every interview I went to, they denied me a job. And even when I passed the interview, they said that you're too individualistic. We don't want to give you the job. I was shocked myself. Then I tried to start my own business, and I wasn't able to get the capital also. Finally, I had to end up in my father's estate and take care of it as well. They predicted that. Then they predicted that I'll have stomach problems for 17 years, actually. I didn't believe it too. So like I just shoved it aside. And then I did get stomach problems. Like I was drinking too much of milk without knowing. I thought too much of milk will enhance my bone strength. And then I got to know that I was lactose enzyme intolerant. Then I suffered from irritability bowel syndrome for 1 year, and I had to eat curds rice. Then I again had another stomach problem in which food wasn't passing through. The English doctor said that the ones who are practicing allopathic medicine, they said, you're fine, there's no problem with you. Then I had to go to the Ayurvedic doctors. They prescribed some medicine. They said that the digestive power has become very low. So all this happened in 17 years. Like, if it's something unpleasant, no one will want to believe it. In fact, they'll forget about it, and it still happened as well. So many predictions that they've said has come true. And I've noticed one more thing. There's this period called 7.5 years, or Sadhe Sati, in which Saturn, the planet of restrictions, death, and decay, comes into your life. So in the first phase, I've noticed your grandparents pass away. The second phase, actually, like the parents pass away. And in the third phase, when it comes after 21 years, you pass away, actually, like wherever it's given. So I predicted that my father might not be able to make it, and I told him to make a will. He took my word seriously, and he had cancer, actually. He was smoking a lot. And then he made the will, actually, and sorry, I didn't make the will. My brother told him to make the will. And then like he passed away, actually, like 2 years back. So if you look at all of this, it's actually a little difficult to believe in free will, to be honest, because if these predictions keep coming true, we human beings are nothing but we have the illusion of free will, but we're like mortals who are like puppets in the hands of God. Ultimately, it's God who has free will, not us.
Asron. Yeah, and the free will as was given to us. That's how we were created in the image.
So
and that's what all. But so let me ask you a question. So if someone looks you, not you, let's just say, well, let's just say somebody else looks at you directly and says, Asron, you have exactly 1 month to live. You have the choice to believe me or don't believe me. Which one do you do?
That's what I'm saying. In the same case, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it at all.
Okay. But and so you and but if I told you that and I was serious, like I was very serious,
like he's a doctor,
you can choose not to believe all you want. It will stick into your head. Okay. Now that it will pop up into your head if a doctor were to, let's say, doctor, thank you, Clay. A doctor says you have 1 month to live. Boom, right? You say, I don't accept this. And you walk out, okay? 99% of the people freak out. How do I save me? How do I? So it's a definition of all prophecies to be self-fulfilling, because you only understand them when it already happened, and now it's too late to change. The fear that someone were to put into their body when someone tells you have 1 month to live, or the venom, so to speak, that we tell the doctor, I don't accept the reality you tell me, it is the conviction of which will tip the scales. The difference is that you are also said before that you're into Vedic astrology for 12 or 13 years, correct? So you have already given away your free will to this path. So if you found something that through your expertise, which I believe you have studied something so deeply, you give your free will away to the stars the same way that Clay gives his free will to the book of Revelation. There is no difference.
But I'll give you one more example, Shaman Omar, and you tell me how it goes. There is one more person whom I know. He just takes your photo, goes into a dark room, and he's able to predict many things. So in one case, what happened? One
I
case,
believe in magic. Hold on, let me clarify for you and everyone. I know magic is real 1000%. I know the stars are real 1000%, and the planetary processions and everything is cyclical. and Hindu astrology is very powerful. The Mayan astrology, I understand, and I know also that people have chosen to go into wars, not go into wars around the stars. I get it. I'm saying that without question, the most powerful thing that will influence your life is what you put your belief into. And you will either understand that now when I said it, or one day in your life, you will understand that is the highest force that's going to create your reality.
So
But
here's something
regarding
okay.
You can go read you can go read something to me and tell me in the next 6 months something is going to happen, and I'm telling you right now it's not going to happen.
Varun, I think you're asking the wrong question. You should be asking for the lotto numbers. That's the information.
Reading someone's eye, so someone can look at your eye, someone can look at your hand, someone can look at your birth chart. There are so many ways, by the way, and there's a lot of fraud, 99%, but there's a lot of real ones too. I know like proper real tarot readers. I know someone that his name's Eric Lopez. He'll light Palo Santo, clean you off, and just start talking, and then after 10 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour, he'll pull out the cards and he's just going to be giving more details to that, what you said. He knew things that I never told. He said, you're writing a book. How the fuck did he know I was writing a book? I did not tell anyone on the earth that I was writing a book. So this is like 14 years ago.
This is what I
believe. I just want to clarify to everyone. I'm not saying that I don't believe in what Asvarun's saying as being real. I do. I'm saying that you have to, as an individual, have to fine-tune yourself to the ability that you can go talk to someone who reads your cards or says whatever and listen to what they're saying with a force field of protection to absorb what they're saying over there and not going right into your field and affecting your emotions and energy levels, because otherwise you don't have free will.
But what I'm saying to your story here, Asvarun, is you do still have free will. You could have chosen not to take over your father's estate, even though you had not done successfully in business. You could have chosen to go and drive a taxi or work at Taco Bell. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a path that's easier. In fact, I'm very adamant that there's paths that are easier and there's a time for everything. And apparently this was the path you chose, and it's probably going to be more beneficial for you than the other paths. But that doesn't negate the fact that you could take them, even if they were detrimental to you. That truly is free will.
Yep. So I was looking at it from this perspective, right? So if it is fear that is this driver for determination,
self-fulfillment,
right? If it's free will, then free will is the absence of fear. But if it's determination, then fear is the driver, and fear being the driver in that sense is actually a virtue because it is the power, right? It is actually a virtue in that sense, but it's not the virtue that you are observing. It's the virtue that others around you are observing about you and then using it against you to drive you to a specific determination where you can actually just ignore it and say, I'm not going to accept that. And then now you are able to make your own choices by saying that fear is not in me.
What's very interesting is all these things where they talk about the principalities that are affecting you, most of them are through what we call the wandering stars or the planets or whatever you want to call them. And this is the way the Gnostics viewed it. And the Gnostics viewed it that the metals in your body, which are interconnected to these roving stars, whether they're in retrograde, whether they're in positive, how they're angled to other things, that was actually affecting the internal you. So the true goal then of Gnosticism was to overcome those external forces that are influencing your decision, so you can get to the purity of you, and you can give what you would truly give without any outside influence.
Great point, Benjamin. That is pure alchemy. That's pure alchemy.
And
Each
by the
planet
way,
has different metals and materials. When a star
yes,
explodes or implodes, the reason we say precious metals is because there's less of those metals here, because when stars explode or implode, there's less of them in those specific, right? That's why gold is more valuable
100%.
than something else.
Yeah.
And to add one step further, when you go
Yeah.
into the alchemy as well, but more into the shamanic component, which usually derives
Plants.
between like masculine and feminine. There's we have the sun, we have the moon, we have when there's a full moon, we have the waters rising. So at night, the creativity, this is a shamanic perspective, is people get more creative at night. That's why you have the witching hours. Like literally when you're in the Amazon, this guy Dani Shuko wakes you up like 3 o'clock in the morning. You were out by 3:30, 3:45 near the vine, the ayahuasca vine, and then we start cutting the vine about like 3:30, 3:45, and we cut till about like 4:30. And the reason is because the feminine energies are highest in those exact hours, and that's when the high tides rise. That's also why people get creative at night, because the feminine portion of the brain becomes creative and the masculine portion is analytical, logical, like in the daytime. So it's like these connections between the shamanic expressions. And by the way, the interesting part, I understood what he was talking about, but it wasn't only until I went out and cut very similar vine, meaning similar age, and I noticed the significant difference in the actual essence of the medicine itself. Like everyone took 2 cups in 2.5 instead of 1.5. And I'm telling you that alone, and people can be like, "Oh, that's stupid." Okay, but this illiterate, jungle man who is like known as a vegetalista, which is like the pharmacist. He knew with everything. You cut, for example, the ahosai, the trees in the daytime, the palos in the daytime, the certain plants at the nighttime, certain things you have to blow, and it's quite amazing. So. Now we're getting into the alchemical, which what I talked about was alchemy as well, but it's in the shamanic expression through alchemical understandings.
Can you highlight the super chat, please, Omar?
Oh, yep. Sorry, bro.
No problem. No, you were talking. It's
no, but still, I'm gonna get it. Hold on a second. What is this? There we go.
I'll add something too after that.
Here, we have Nani.
your
Good
business.
evening. Oh, good evening, all. Don't know what's going on, but I have my thinking cap on and my knowledge glass empty. Just waiting for the smart spice to flow. Okay.
The spice must flow.
The spice. The spice.
Everybody's eyes turn blue.
Yeah, you know that if you look into like the mysticism and the occult, the author of Dune like tapped into, like the Al Mahdi is actually like the Mahdi, which would be like a
Space
prophetic,
ayahuasca.
Yeah, well, the spice. Yeah, the spice. Well, in those days, they had a seed called Esfan. They didn't. The ayahuasca vine is privy to the incarnation of the womb of the earth being in where we call the Amazon today. At one point, it was where we call Al-Kemet in ancient Egypt, and so the Kundalini of the earth is expressed different ways. What was once a lush forest, with us misusing the medicines and turning, you always find it because there's a correlation when Egypt and then Greece and then Rome and then eventually us. They turn into these medicines. They start having these big societies. They start getting overwhelmed with themselves. The societies fall when the elites start doing a similar pattern. The men become women, etc. You also know that the PDF stuff starts to become commonly known, and then it becomes displayed. And that's when the Greeks took over the Egypts. That's where they were at. And when Rome, defeated the Greeks and took Egypt, the Greeks were called the boy lovers, right? And then at the end, when Rome fell, they were doing the same thing. So I think that the nectar is pure, we pollute it, just like the proverbial garden, and then it goes back into the earth and goes to the other side of the earth, and what was once a desert becomes a rainforest for us to exercise our fucking free will or our human nature yet again. And this is a cyclical thing, and I think then there'll be a flood or something. Just says, you know what, the earth's like, enough of this.
Well, that brings us
force field and allow a comet to smash.
See, that brings us into Universe 25. Let's come back to that quick though. I don't think that ayahuasca is the spice, because when you look at ayahuasca is powerful medicine. But when you look at what spice is actually doing is opening up your epigenetic memories. So that's really kind of the opposite of what ayahuasca is doing. Ayahuasca is very higher minded. It's very higher thought. You're going and visiting all these higher spirits. You're not going and visiting your ancestors.
Here, let me add something to what you're saying. One day you drink ayahuasca, and someone's like this, like, and you go, and you're like going through the cosmic wormhole through space.
Hold on. Did you say drink, but then do the thing where you blew it in the person's nose? Because I'll drink some.
No, that's rapid. I'm shooting you through.
That ain't happening.
No,
you ain't no poof and nothing in my nose.
And we're shooting, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going through a cosmic umbilical cord wormhole through the space, right? And then all of a sudden, a few years later, and 180 ceremonies later, one day you're sitting there and you realize, oh my fucking God, I was going through my own DNA.
Yep. Yes.
So on the highest levels of the ayahuasca, we get mesmerized. No, we're humans. Of all our senses, sight is the thing. Seeing is believing. So that's why ayahuasca gives you no visions. They add more to Kruna.
Have the active voices of all your ancestors talking.
Yes, you can see. I have seen 100
for control of you.
I have seen 100 past lives of incarnations, and I've talking to my ancestors on the earth and in the cosmic ancestry.
Right.
Like I'm trying. Well, here's what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying.
To get reincarnated.
Hold on. It's all existence at the same time through me being alive at this moment is what I'm trying to say. Here's the thing we have to understand about ayahuasca. Let me save you decades of time. Okay. Real quick. The thing is that ayahuasca itself does not actually have any visions at all. The chacruna and green leaves that have DMT are added. Now, the gringos want to see visions because we're used to television. So they'll add a lot more DMT than those Amazonian people are connected to the earth. So they don't have many visions. They have inner knowingnesses and they have consciousness and talking. So, right. But when they know the gringo comes, the gringo wants to see big visions. So they add a lot of DMT for the people because seeing is believing, but knowing is understanding. So ayahuasca may blow your mind through crazy visions, but eventually you start to understand the innerverse, and you start to recognize that everything you're seeing on the outer is just a connection of you on the inner. And if you didn't possess that end, it would never be able to show you yourself on whatever the level is, cosmically, ancestrally, is Sumerian you. I've seen what is the ones the freaking Neanderthal. I saw a Neanderthal me one time, like when I was in the mirror washing my hands. And we were like trying to figure out fucking fire. Okay. It was like the monkey, you know.
Wait.
Yo, I have had similar, like, it's crazy, dude. I can't explain it. Past lives and shamanic linkage to like ancestral linkage is crazy.
Yeah, and again, you could say the question is, someone could easily say, well, Omar, how do you know that it had anything to do with you and wasn't something completely outside of you? And that's where I would say, well, it was a theognostic experience. It was a direct experience, and I don't need to explain why. I was there. And if you'd like to find out, here, drink this. And you can find out for yourself. You know what I mean?
My question would be is, why is there, if the ayahuasca itself doesn't have some spirit of its own, why is there such a uniformity of experience on ayahuasca?
There's not. There's DMT smoking.
And why is that's ayahuasca? There's a uniformity of experience.
No chance.
And because I've read quite a bit of books about it. Well, at least, you know, I'm not making the claim. I'm just repeating what in the books that I've read.
I mean, DMT.
Yeah, people in a room full of virgins, the person who has sex 3 times is the tantra master, right? So what happens is that people. And I know a lot of people have written books and done these fucking podcasts and stuff. And they have 5 experiences talking shit about ayahuasca. Not you, Ben, by the way. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying that like I'm aware I know a lot of the people that like, I know a guy who drank ayahuasca 23 times, drank it with me twice. That's 24. I think he drank it 3 more times and then wrote a book about ayahuasca. I mean, it's a fucking joke, you know. I drink ayahuasca.
I wasn't making the claims of my own.
No, I know.
I know you know that.
I know you didn't. What I'm saying is that ayahuasca is so vast and so wide of the potentiality that people experience. But DMT, everyone's seen the brilliant, bright darkness. Everyone's seeing, you know, there are certain things.
The machine elves.
Dimension. Yeah, there's dimensional things that exist. So DMT, whether it's in ayahuasca or smoking, there's in DMT, which is more connected to the earth, more colors, and then there's 5-MeO DMT, right? Now you can go from an in to a 5-MeO through Icaros and stuff with ayahuasca, but ayahuasca experiences, etc., is infinite. I mean, I've heard every type of thing, but I would say DMT is somewhat of a there's a realm you could start adding, and it's a small circle. It's a up to 30-minute experience. It's you know, ayahuasca 4, 5, 6 hours. Like so much happens, bro. In that,
no, I get that it's a deeper experience. I understand that
because of the ayahuasca, not because of the DMT. Because the ayahuasca just means when you say Mother Ayahuasca, you're just saying Mother Nature. So
I just don't see how it compares to Spice from the Dune series, and I'm pretty familiar with the Dune series.
Well, no, I would say
eventually he gets it. He literally. That's what the dude was talking about, and that's what I was not arguing. I wasn't arguing anything you're saying. I'm saying in the Dune series, Spike, he literally has the voices of all of his ancestors in his head at one time, talking to him and fighting for spiritual control. And the only reason that Leto is able to not become an abomination is because Leto makes an agreement with Methuselah, his very first ancestor, the very first person of his bloodline, and makes an agreement with him, and the two of them share power, and that's able to keep all the rest of the voices out. And through all that, he ends up becoming a fucking sandworm. So
yeah, wow. I've never read the books. I would say the seed Esfand I was talking about is in the Middle East. It's like it's called Esfand. It's an MAOI, but can be consumed by itself. And if you, I'm not going to give prescriptions of how to make it, but if you make it and you end up drinking it like on the very powerful, it's wild shit. Like you can turn your head and your perceptions faster than the computer reality can move. It's fucking. It's horrible. No,
that's the Joe Rogan DMT.
It's not DMT. It's called Esfand. It's the base of a Homa. It's an MAOI, and then you would add acacia plant, and now you have Homa or Soma. Like now you have the Zoroastrian Magi drink. But if you drink it by itself with no DMT, I'm trying to say you can understand that the computer simulation you understand where people came up with the computer simulation. It's a problem. I'm not recommending, because by the way, it was like 10 hours. So it's not like, it's a word. 10 hours is a long fucking time when reality is not holding itself together, dude. It's bad.
Well, the computer idea is just a basic misunderstanding of the carbon world and the way that it works. And understanding, like Santos Bonacci actually has when he's not being absolutely batshit crazy, he has a really good presentation on this, and this is part of why, like, after a person loses a limb, they have the phantom limb thing where they can even massage that limb, and it's shocking the effects that it'll have on the rest of the body, even though it's not there. And that's because the carbon body is filling itself in around the energetic body. So the energetic body is really first and foremost. And that's what's causing most of the understandings of the problems with that, because they're looking at the carbon world and then they're entering state where they're not necessarily aligning with the carbon world. And so they're moving more with the more energetic actual forces, and the carbon world starts getting weird for them.
Well, yeah, because within the mind's eye, the soul still has the arm. So as the person within the mind's eye, they still think, well, I'm this, and this means I have both arms. So it must be there.
Even with
Abracadabra.
without their mind, there's medical studies where they can like massage those things, do things to that missing arm without even the mind thinking about it. There, energetically, that leg exists whether your carbon body is filling it in or not.
Like phantom pains and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can, you can but you can do that on something else, and like you can tell someone you have their hand and hit them, and they can also think. The mind is very powerful.
The mind is definitely very powerful,
and everything is so connected, even if it's not. Like,
you guys have heard about tulpas, right? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of what?
Like
a tulpa. It's a thought form that, you know, like, not to pick at Clay or anything or any of the Christians. A lot of people would state that Jesus is a tulpa, where you've just got enough people that believe in this one similar thing, and then this thing ends up becoming an empowered energy being of its own,
right?
Which is
like a thought entity.
Yeah,
right. But
that exists in the thought that in the right above in the skies where the clouds in that plane.
And a lot of people would claim actually all gods are tulpas, and they're something that we have energized. That's why there's a lot of stories where the gods basically require your prayer or your worship or whatever else, because once the thoughts leave that egregore or that tulpa, then it loses its power because we were the ones empowering it in the first place.
Hold on, tulpa. This is a Polish skincare. What is it? Tulpa? TU?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Tulpa, a type of consciousness, autonomous, separate identity or thought form that a person intentionally creates in their mind focus.
Pseudonym.
Yeah, tulpa.
Multiple personality disorder.
Some people use them for intercourse.
Well, the tulpa would be separate from you. So
bipolar.
The multiple personality disorder, you would actually be the other person. The tulpa is a separate being from you. That being might have power over you in some way, but you've created something external from yourself. And then the more people that believe in that tulpa, the more empowered it becomes.
Well, it's like this too. I mean, I don't know if so it would require multiple people then.
Sure, it requires like a battery. No, one person would conceive,
like two or more.
Well, one person would conceive of something, and they would project it. So then your belief in that thing, like when in Hinduism, for example, in the Middle East, in Persia and Afghanistan, Zarathustra was the word for God was Ahura Mazda for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Clearly, Ahura Mazda and Angru Manu, the devil, existed in the thought plane, the tulpa range that you described. Clearly, because you had the entire populations believe in this thing. So it's a thought entity.
So that's kind of the perception when it comes to Christians recognizing that there are other gods. You understand that that's actually what they're saying, right? They're not saying there really are other gods. They're saying that that's just a thought that you had fleeting.
That comes from Judaism, and that's why when King Saul, that comes from Judaism, and any actual really good rabbi will tell you, yes, no, we believe in we believe in the existence of other gods, but there is only one God specifically for the Hebrew people, which they also believe is the creator of the heavens and the earth. But in real time, though, there was a real battle about that, because if you look at the actual history, those gods were winning even from Saul through David, and the later prophets were complaining about people praying to Asherah to the point that they had to take out all of the other statues and totems and so on, because they said those gods still have too much power and control over the people. Who was the king? King, not Josiah. Which king was the one who officially banned all the other gods?
Oh my goodness! King? Yeah, I can't remember.
David? I don't know.
No, it was after.
No, he was too busy biting penis tips.
That is not what they did back then.
Dude, that is how they do it. That's how they do it.
That's how a certain sect of Judaism does it now. That is not how they did it.
It's supposed to be derived from how they did it then.
That is not how they did it.
That's what they say. It's not my.
That's what that sect of Judaism today says.
Hey! Nonetheless, he collected 200 foreskins off.
That may
No,
be.
he had someone do it. He had okay. I just looked it up. It was King Josiah, as I said.
Josiah.
Yeah, King Josiah. The priest started telling like, hey, we're starting to lose connection because the other Elohim are being worshipped too much. So it's in 2 Kings and so on. But he basically
that's interesting. That leans toward the tulpa thing, where other ones are being worshipped too much. So we need to draw some of it back to us. We're losing connection.
1000%. That's how it that is exactly. Look, every Semitic tribe in those days that had a specific Elohim that they worship. In Deuteronomy 28 was talking about the 70, the post-flood. The 70 kings, I'll pull it up. 70 Elohim were given 70 tribes and 70 parcels of land, etc., etc. It's in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's in the Ugaritic text from 1500 BC, and it's in the Masoretic, which changes it and says Yahweh was given his portion Israel, right? But during those times, they all recognized the existence of other gods to the extent that, and when King Solomon, No, the dog has the free will. The dog's like, you said I don't have free will.
I said you have free will.
The dog's like, you humans, you keep missing it. We just choose not to weary ourselves and wear out our brains and trying to thinking about free will. You guys are the lost ones. That's what the dog just told us.
Yeah, he had to interject. Also, the cat had to make sure you all saw her cleaning her butt.
Well, listen, the cat can do that right on the screen, and I would consider it a good sign. In ancient Egypt, even in Islam, they say, in Islam is like a hadith. They say to pet a cat, to make a cat purr is a good deed because it's praying for your soul's ascension. In ancient Egypt, they had cats everywhere. The cats, when they saw the messenger from so-and-so coming with gifts and smiling, right? But but knew they're trying to trap Egypt. The cats would go, right? And everyone knew that even though that person comes bearing gifts of golds and beautiful jewelry, even though that person from that other nation smiling at everyone, his fucking energy and his mind is betraying him, and the cats could sense. And the funniest part about it is the cats didn't do it because they care about the pharaoh. The cats said, this is my house.
Yeah.
They didn't care about who thought it's their house.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's true.
That's exactly right.
No.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I was going to say something earlier when you guys were talking about wandering stars and like planets, right?
I'm gonna help out. It was a good one. Talking to you guys.
Right, like plants, right? So plants follow these weird like planetary functions, or like they release frequencies a certain period of the day, right? Stuff like that. Which is just interesting. But that was just like I had that thought, but I lost it earlier. But yeah, but there's something about music and like sound, I think, but how the planets, if they have to be a certain arrangement, and then a flower, a type of plant, will react just based on that arrangement. So again, free will, how it determines us is like difficult to
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't. Plants don't actually have free will.
Planetary movement and wandering stars and stuff. So
yeah, but by what he just described, then technically we don't in many ways as well, right? That's the
no. We still have the free will.
Well, we are defying.
But you know what I mean.
But we would.
We are defying. We are the free will. We are in this like. I don't believe in Gnosticism in that we're in a prison. And there is no like black pill and stuff like that.
That's just one version. Not the Gnostics.
Well, it doesn't exist. It's
but
bullshit.
that's like one sect within Christian Gnosticism that somehow speaks for everybody. Because you can say Sufis are Gnostics and Kabbalists are Gnostics, and and they all have different belief systems. But there's a classical Gnostic system about the demiurge and the archons, and we're in that prison specifically.
But
in,
just because,
but it's based on our experience of
because-
this reality, which happens to be harsh. If you fall off a cliff, you're going to die.
we may be
die of
inside of
old
a black
age.
hole and they're trapped as well. So they're like, fuck, we need to get out of here. So let's cultivate this energy. What's the most powerful
Yeah.
one?
Let's
And
start
they-
having faith and belief in this idea, because look around, it's actually horrible. We're in some sort of prison of like what it's like. We're just here like trying to figure shit out, like, and and I think us having free will is like what actually breaks this prison matrix or whatever. But that doesn't exist, so I don't know.
The prison
Yeah.
planet?
Well, the whole universe and matter
You bubble.
would in itself be just a bunch of mechanisms and functions and how it all corresponds and correlates. So it's just it's a whole system, and you can extrapolate. You can keep zooming out. This is what I do. This is my world. Like I keep zooming out until I see God and I see the Trinity and I see like prima materia and I see nothing and then everything, right? And then like okay, and I keep zooming out. I keep zooming out, and I'm like, okay. So it's just when you give a name to something, you just take some infinite potential and you limit it into boundary and form, so it can't be anything else.
Yeah.
So you just believe in a story, and you can invent gods, and you can. But the imagination is like this. I think that's what free will is, maybe. Imagination.
We even have free will and thought. Like so we get confused on this. Like my thought. It's like, but is it your thought, right? Because if I watch Braveheart tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be thinking about swords, right, or and something, or you watch something along.
I'll be thinking about conquering England.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about that. I'm always thinking about that. But that's on the top of my to-do list.
Exactly.
It has been. It's why my dad made me. Anyway,
apparently I'm going to rewatch Conan the Barbarian to learn about the lesson of steel too.
Yeah, anytime. But the thing that I was going to say about this is that if I can have stupid, look, 12 years serving ayahuasca, teaching meditation, teaching breath works. I'll think of the dumbest shit imaginable out of what appears to be nowhere. Okay, appears to be out of nowhere. The dumbest idea, right? Here's the thing: just like a shooting star, it's just a thought. Then the self-mastery goes into not making it your thought. Not be like, that's the thing. As soon as you grab that thought, now it's my thought, right? And so then it can the choice even be yours if you don't even know how to explain why you made it? Meaning, can a thought even be yours if you don't even know why you're thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
So it rises us to a higher level, a higher level of self-understanding of consciousness itself. And what role do I have in the awareness of consciousness to be able to stop a train of thought like this immediately or start one?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I've mastered that. I'm just sharing, like, this is the type of shit I personally I'm figuring, this is what I'm personally working on. No one else? Whatever. We write a manual about that one. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, look, there's predetermination to a certain extent. There's free will to a certain extent. And we have I would say free will is best described as we have the ability to believe in its existence or not. Do you imagine? We have the ability to affirm or deny that everything came from one thing or many random things. We have the ability to say there's chaos, it's all chaos, or it's all uniform, right? We have complete will in some levels.
Can I just real quick, I want to clear something up for people, because a lot of people think that like Ben said, that this whole weird biting thing of circumcision that happened. Like, the thing is, yeah, it happened, but it was in the 2nd century CE. Okay. Christians have nothing to do with this. I just want you guys to understand that, right? So the beginning of that practice, the original practice, was not doing it that way. Now, you might not agree with circumcision. That's fine. specifically that practice started in the 2nd century, and that was Jews doing that. Christians have nothing to do with sucking penis at all. Just to clear that up.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
the Jews are the gay vampires in this story.
He was not talking about he didn't say Christians.
No, bro.
I did not accuse Christians. I accused King David,
King David,
who was a Jew and also had to go collect 200 foreskins in order to get a wife.
You accused David.
I don't think you had anything to do with that or any other Christian.
But can I clear that up? Because David didn't do that. Because David, like, that's a part of Christianity too.
David had someone else collect it. He would not. He's
that's because you guys. Oh, that's because you guys lump yourself in with Jews. You even say it. You've got to be a Jew before you can. be a Christian.
not that.
And some Jew stuff is really fucking weird.
Yeah, that is. But that's after Christ, right? So the Jews before Christ and during Christ weren't doing that. Like that's the thing.
The Jews now do that, dude, and the Jews before Christ, because King David was
oh my god, where is this? No, I got.
Well, I don't know.
Where did you find this literature?
I don't know I don't know why we're getting into theology, but I just pulled this up for us real quick.
Why? Where did you get this literature?
I know Omar don't like Paul, but Paul was like, no, don't go get the tips your dick's clip.
Where did you get this literature?
I just gave it to you right here. Look at the screen.
So does it say that he was sucking on the penises?
What?
This is how they circumcise. That's
they did not. Dude, that practice started. I just told you it started in the 2nd century.
Yeah, let me help clear this up. So Abraham circumcised himself with a knife, right? And so you're talking about the other thing, which is talking about the suction thing. That's
it's called mitzvah.
Yeah, that's not
called Brit Milah.
That
whatever.
So the point is, look, Ben, I'm looking at the information right here. I know that you probably don't believe it, but bro, this stuff started in the 2nd century. Christians and the previous Jews before Christ and during Christ had nothing to do with this. Dude, I don't know why you're spreading misinformation. I don't know what it is. I can't stand this shit. I can't, bro. We're supposed to be having a conversation about philosophy, right? And you're going to go into, well, the Jews were sucking on penises, bro. What the fuck?
We start talking about David. That's what I got to say about David.
I don't want to talk about little boys' penises. Why do you want to talk about little boys' penises?
Why does your fucking brain put little boys' penises in their mouth?
Why is it that penises are in your mind, dude? Why little penises in your mind?
Uncomfortable.
Comfortable that little penises
are religion.
Super uncomfortable.
With your religion,
100%. It makes me uncomfortable
with your religion,
penises of little boys.
Stop saying that, Clay. You're just broke terms of services like 50 times in a row, bro.
Here's blaming Christians for all of his iniquity.
Don't say it again, dude.
I don't blame
Christians for anything. Problems in your life.
Clay, no one can even hear your phone. Your microphone is breaking up.
The Christians didn't do it to you.
Okay.
Stop mentioning your religion, Clay. I'm sorry that this is part of your religion.
It's retarded. You are retarded.
Clay,
Christians didn't do nothing to you, bro.
You little bitch.
Living a really good life in a nation.
Your microphone is breaking up, Clay.
For your soul.
What the fuck are you talking about? You live a really great life in a nation full of Christians.
I live a wonderful life.
Yeah, in a nation full of Christians. It's majority Christian.
So
get over yourself. Stop blaming Christians for your shitty life. Okay? Every time you turn around, you're complaining, bitching, and pissing and moaning about your shitty life.
How do I
circumcision is not your problem, is it? Little boy penises is not your problem, is it? It's little boy penis is your problem.
Fucking leave the bitch religion.
Bro, every time I turn around, you're bitching and pissing and moaning about the Christians. It's retarded.
Dude, it's something that's part of your fucking
religion. It's retarded.
I'm sorry, it is retarded.
It is
I don't
uncomfortable
like
to
it
sit
either.
here and listen to somebody
I
talk
don't
about
like
little
it
boy
either.
penises.
I don't like it either. You're the
You
one
are talking about little boy penises all the fucking time.
Bible.
Why?
That's a big part of it, bro. Circumcision's a huge.
Oh, so
part
you're
of your
just gonna
little
mute?
book. And all
You're
about
gonna be a little bitch? You're fucking retarded. This is
Who fucking
retarded.
muted?
You can't
You're
have.
fucking muted. Nobody
You-
muted. I don't even have control, you dumb motherfucker.
Somebody
This is-
did.
That's Omar's panel. I don't even got to
Okay.
fucking give you shit.
Okay. So, and
Nobody muted you.
somebody muted me.
I heard
It
you the
was
whole time.
Omar then. But regardless of that, I don't understand why it is that every time I get on a panel with you, you have to just blame the Christians for all of your problems. Why?
I don't have a problem with putting baby penises in my mouth.
Neither do I. Neither do the Christians. The Christians have
I
never
didn't
done
say
this.
the Christians did.
And
King
nobody
David
before
sure-
Jesus
King
or during
David
Jesus'
sure did,
time
though.
did it.
And you're like,
You are
King
blaming
David's my
Christians for
hero.
all of your little
I don't know why
crybaby
you
bitch
wanted to
problems.
Go around and collect
Bro,
a bunch of the kids
you
from that shit.
have a problem
I
with
don't know.
Christians. It's not my problem. It's your problem.
It's a fucking weak
What
ass
is it?
religion.
What
It's a
is it?
weak-ass thing. I
Oh,
want white
it's
people-
good religions.
I
Nice
want white
platitude.
people to give
Nice
that shit up.
platitude. Nice
I want white
platitude.
people to give that up.
Nice platitude.
Go back to the religion of your
Right.
forefathers.
So tell me how the Vikings
my
and the
favorite part about
Odinists
this
like
whole thing, Clay,
like to.
Clay. My favorite part the whole time he left Asvarun up here with his hand up for. I
know,
don't
right?
even know why.
I
Why
know.
is this happening? Asvarun, are you part of this somehow?
No, Benjamin. I just wanted to ask you, like, is it okay if I can go and have breakfast, like, for half an hour, and I'll come back again? Is it okay?
Absolutely, Asvarun.
Yeah, thank you.
Love you.
Love having you, brother.
Yeah. Bro, I just don't want to be up here doing philosophy and then all of a sudden, because I'm not going to sit here and do the same thing with your Odinist belief, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I could literally go into some shitty shit about Odinists.
Wait till he's done playing musical chairs, please, Clay, so I can hear what you're saying.
Okay. Sorry. I
It's
don't
not
want-
on you. You kept popping in and out of my screen, and I heard every like third word.
Yep.
And where's Omar?
I don't know.
Omar, are you done moving us?
What Clay couldn't understand was his microphone was cutting out, and all I kept hearing was penises, little boys. That's what he doesn't understand. You know, it's all I heard for 12 minutes, bro.
Sorry.
So all
Well,
I heard was
look,
you
I
just talking
just-
about little boys.
No,
penises for 12
I
minutes.
understand, but I didn't
sure?
bring it up. Yeah, I do.
He said
I
it one
do.
time, and you said it for 12 minutes. I
Yeah,
kept asking you.
one time
stop
is too
saying-
many.
Stop saying the
I
fucking
don't
word, man.
want it to
Thanks.
be said. I don't
So-
like
so
it.
you
I don't
don't have
like
to
it
bring
whenever
up-
somebody blames the
If
Christians
someone's
for it.
talking, if someone's arguing about apples, they don't have to fucking say apple every time. We know what they're
Oh
talking
my
about.
God. Oh my.
That's
Omar.
all I'm asking.
Omar,
You're
if every time that I'm up here on a panel and somebody wants to say, I hate Christians.
Of
'cause
course,
this,"
defend it. Of course. Clay, you asked me a question. Of course, defend it. But you don't have to bring up the exact thing over with every
why
sentence,
did you
beginning
feel
and ending. That's all I'm saying. Because Spin just messaged me earlier about TOS about when I said something else, and then now all of a sudden I thought I said the same thing. I thought something
I do
about.
understand.
Okay, but I don't understand. I'm trying listening to when
No,
people
I
like,
get what you're saying.
TOS, and
I
I'm
get
like,
what
oh,
you're saying.
damn it. So, I mean, you know, my favorite word to drop online.
Yes.
So-
yes.
So,
I just,
you know,
I would rather have a
I got you.
philosophical conversation than to attack each other's religions all the time, which is why I had the debate with him.
I wasn't
Okay.
attacking your.
that wasn't a debate. You guys, what you guys do need to do, hold on, this Howard. What you guys do need to do is you guys really do, and this is me as a friend. You guys do have to have like an actual debate on the subject of morality pertaining to each one, right? And then I think that'll solve the tension. I think it's necessary.
Fuck that, dude.
Fuck
Fuck that. That was the greatest dumpster fire I've seen in a long time. I was waiting for Ben and Clay to get into it.
I don't even know. I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to
every
stop
second.
anything. Hold
I
on,
loved
hold on.
every second, dude. It was fucking amazing.
Howard, you can't kick me. I'm part of the show. If you kick me, then I'm the fuck out for real. For real. Like I'm gone.
Yeah.
We're not doing
No,
that.
leave Clay
That's
alone.
funny though, but
It is
Oh,
funny.
that's Howard here. Oh,
Anyways,
Howard here sent that.
Clay, what you're not understanding is
I didn't know that.
understand
It's hilarious.
I had no
don't
idea what
have
was
that
going
as
on
part
there.
of their thing. I have a lot of problems with other cultures. As far as I'm concerned, and you should know this about me, actually, I think Christian is mostly derived from Germanic. And
I would agree.
And so I think that this is basically the culture white people have been living. And I don't have a problem with Christians. I do have a problem with mostly actually real Jews. I don't, but Ashkenazi Jews, I usually don't get along with much at all.
I appreciate that, Ben. Thank you.
And so this
I have a problem with them too. Yes.
Yeah. It's a poke at them. I don't, my brain doesn't go David the Christian. You know,
that's why I was shocked that you respond to that, but it's the attachment of it.
David isn't.
Yeah, but like, let me give you an example, right? Right now, you see a lot of like military veterans on podcasts that are talking about like, oh, the lady boys in Afghanistan, right? Oh, the lady boys in Afghanistan. And people go, oh yeah, okay, yeah,
it's a thing.
Okay, yeah. Guess what? It's a thing with one specific tribe.
Grow your hair longer, shave your beard, you might be a lady boy.
280 tribes, okay? So obviously it's always been a thing with that tribe. That's why they live on the outskirts. But what you have to understand is the reason why all the American veterans were so close to them and saw that is because they were their allies. Because the only people that were allied with you is not a real Pashtun. You get it? So you were partnered with the child, whatever you want to call that thing. I don't know the terms of service thing. I'm trying not to say, but everyone knows what I'm saying. But if I caught offense, I'm not going to start defending every single different tribe because they're wearing. Because, you know, so
I would defend America the same way because everybody who says that San Francisco type people, right, are all of a sudden the whole of America, right? Just Southern California is not the whole of America. And
that's my point. No,
right?
But okay, that's my point. That's my point. And guess what? America's got 500 million, 350 million, and Afghanistan has like 52 million. And so I agree. But the thing is, we have the free will to either to defend all of America or realize that this person has a limited perception, is exercising their free will to think that's everybody, right? So that's like a low level of ignorance, right? Because otherwise someone thinks, I hear it all the time when I travel to Europe. Oh, America, this. I'm saying, bro, do you even, what kind of, where did you go in America? Oh, you went to Orlando to Disney World for 4 days and so that's America? Like, you don't even understand. So you have to be all over America, and America is not even.
Well, here's the thing, because I know
someone has a question for Ben. Schmoogly Boogly says, "How many non-Ashkenazi news have you news? You can't write that."
No, he can't. Yeah, he can't write it.
No, it's because they will freak out, and I've met quite a few.
Well,
Sephardic. I've actually traveled to other countries and things like that.
Yeah, depending on what you write in chat. YouTube is actually
well, YouTube is a vicious, picky sucker.
Yeah, the chat.
It will hold things up, and you're like,
yes, they are.
Yep. And so
as we call it. Since you started this stream, do you know how many nothing wrong with what they said I've put up in there?
Yeah,
probably 20 or 30.
Yeah, and you can't even figure out. You're like, I don't even understand why it held this. Like, some of them are super that like there's nothing being said. You're like,
welcome to YouTube. I get it. I do get it. I 100% get it. I apologize as well. Just so
in that case, he was talking about King David, who was clearly not a Christian, who was Jewish. You know
no.
But other times I know, other times and in general, yes, bro. Of course, you should always defend your religion.
So the practice he was talking about started in the 2nd century, where look, here's the thing. I know that Ben was talking about his I guess you could call it lineage, and so I obviously have, like I mentioned, lineage back to Dutch and Dane as well, but I also have lineage going the other direction as well, through the English, and then it out past that down through the Greek and even further back than that. So when I say lineage, I know where I'm from, but I'm not just from like my lineage, my blood doesn't just flow through Europe, right? I'm a mutt, bro. Like I don't have any African, you know, there's no black in there, no ham, if you will. But there is most certainly some shim. There's
way you said
definitely
that.
some shim there.
Unfortunately not. There's
Well, I'm just
definitely
going to
some
tell
shim
you
there.
that I'm just going to tell you though that according to the basic AIs, this isn't me being a rabbi or knowing anything. It says Brit Milah has been practiced for at least 3,800 years.
Yeah. So that's not that's the practice of oral suction.
All right. This has nothing to do with
That's
free
what it
will.
says.
Yeah.
Can I
Hey,
skirt the situation?
Hold on. Let's move to the people asking questions. What about the Shroud of Turin? I would say look up Jacques Desmoulins in the 1200s, and then look up the 1980 Time magazine where they pinned it back to the 1200s.
They didn't bite the tip off.
No, this drawing blood. It's blood for a blood oath for a covenant. And it's done also when someone would be like, if you were to go join Judaism right now and you happen to be circumcised like your boy, they would still use a pinprick to draw blood because it's a blood oath. You understand? Because
That's
blood
the
is
point to it.
Huh?
That's the point to it, is a blood oath.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
there's so it's a blood oath, but they know the human fucking mouth is dirtier than a dog's and would have infections, right?
Yes.
And so maybe it's even dark magic that someone wants to take the blood into their mouth to control that person spiritually, and
that's a
take
good
their
point.
blood. It's actually, it could be quite interesting.
Yeah, because in all seriousness, that's a really good point. I know that
but guys,
we're gonna have that subject.
Yeah, audience, you got to stay tuned, because either next week or the week after, we're going to do good versus evil, black versus white magic, and in there, I will go into my theories of different religious effects and from a shamanic perspective, how easily it could be used for magic. Someone just said,
I know the Christians don't practice this because I've given fucking Omar shit. And I'm like, why don't you like Paul? He's the one who stopped out. He's the one who said you don't need to get circumcised. Like, he seems like he's that good guy.
Yeah.
Someone just said you're a Greek god, Clay.
Yeah.
I just declared Clay as a Greek god, someone wrote.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I do, my lineage goes through Anatolia. I mean, that it's plenty. Like, look at me, right? I'm not fully. You're like my skin is 100% pale, sure, but the look of me, like, you can see it. Like, I got a big nose, bro. This thinking honker. You know what I'm saying? That is not like, it's angled, but it's big. You know, it's definitely Anglo for sure.
Clay, if you want to get your get back on Ben, just have him recite the Jay and Silent Bob song.
Fuck off.
Hey, Clay, this is Clay. Clay, someone has Clay. Someone
put that.
Clay, this is. I think this is for you.
If that money doesn't show, then you owe me.
Someone said saying King David wasn't a Christian. LOL.
He wasn't. Christians didn't exist when David was around. They didn't exist till Christ.
He would have been
wrong. Kind of fucking
David would have been the Christ. Not the Christian.
Said, I'm Israel. Says you can't really join Judaism unless you have Jewish blood. Oh, please.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
No, I would disagree with it, because you're completely forgetting the point of being a Jew, which is the covenant of which Abraham started, and then through his seeds, Genesis 12:3 would be great nations, and so that is the physical covenant of lineage. But if you're Moses's wife, there's how many? Eight of the wives of prophets were not even Semitic, or half of them weren't Semitic.
You're still
Moses'
talking
own
about
wife
a very
was
small area of the world.
Yeah. No, but hold on. That's my point is this. I'm Israel is always here, which is awesome. But what you're forgetting as the point is, when you say Jewish, you have to ask yourself, when you say Jewish, are you talking about an ethnicity and a culture, or are you talking about a covenant with God? And so if the covenant with God, anyone can join the covenant. That's all over here we go. Covenant of God. It's described very clearly in the 5 books of Moses. how you join the covenant of God. It says exactly, it's all over there. So that's not, anyone can join any covenant of anything.
Kosher.
And by the way,
Omar.
and just for the record, when you say Jewish, I understand that you're saying the 2 tribes of Judea, that you're only ones you're keeping record of the 12 tribes. And I also recognize also the fact that you also think that means from the mother, but you should also go look and see when that started, which was 200 AD. Okay.
I got a question for you, brother.
The covenant was given through Avram when he became Avraham, and it was through his seeds would be great nations. Seeds were sons. And just as Isaac and just as Jacob and Esau were not only brothers, but they were twin brothers. They shared a womb. They became different nations, did they not? One was blessed and one was cursed. The same bloodline from the same exact womb of the same mother. They literally shared the womb. And those were different nations. And so that covenant that which you are passing judgment on and seem to only understand from a Eurocentric understanding of Judaism, I suggest you go back to the Torah and you go back to the literal translation.
Hold on, why would
get
that
more
be
familiar with your
Eurocentric? Actually, the Europeans all believe in Ashkenazi Jews, which are not Sephardic. And
the person who wrote the comment is saying, for example,
but I'm just asking why that would be a Eurocentric view, because it seems to me that the part where they get to become Jews and all these people that don't have Semitic blood are suddenly Jews and they're the ones running Israel, those people are the ones that thought that you could join. The people with the actual blood,
they're the ones. No, they're the ones that say you're only a Jew if your mother is.
At some point in time, their mother never was, because if they don't have any fucking Semitic blood, then somewhere they're it's not in their bloodline.
I explained it. It was a covenant from one man to his seeds. That's why his first son was Ishmael with the freed Egyptian slave Hagar. Guess what? God spoke to Hagar and told her directly that your son is blessed in the covenant through Abraham. And then his chosen son Isaac, which later gave way to the Jews, he also is blessed with the first covenant of the Holy Land of Israel, and on and on and on and on and on. And through those times, women, Jody, in the middle of sentences, bro. During those times, they married women outside of their tribes. For example, King David raped a Turkish woman and gave birth to King Solomon.
Just one time, great.
Well, we've already fucked it up with I'm sure.
I know, but I'm making a point because you do that one all the time now.
I'm telling a biblical story. So if they take me down, I'll say they're being anti-Semitic. Anyway, get it? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the Jews today are torn between a dichotomy. The Orthodox Jews would understand it's the covenant that is the spiritual, as it says, and then the other ones, the ethnocentric, which I would consider to be a Eurocentric, think it's all about blood. Like, for example, the punishment of not believing in God or keeping the Sabbath is clearly spelled out in Deuteronomy. It's called stoning to death. Okay, so Deuteronomy dictates that there would be no so-called Jew who doesn't believe in God, affirm the Shema, keep the Sabbath, they get stoned to death, bro. It's pretty simple, right? But today you have over 50% of the Jews on the earth claiming to be Jewish, claiming the land of Israel, but then also don't believe in the God who gave them the promise. They're an atheist. You're an atheist that you say God promises this land, but I don't believe in that God. So what are you talking about?
So could I just do one more? I know I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Leviticus 17:14. You shall not eat the blood of any creature, for the life of every creature is its blood. Anyone who eats it shall be cut off. Right.
Yeah,
so
they don't eat it. They spit it out.
It would still be ingestion. It would still be
according to them.
I know, according to them, you're right. You're right.
Out, and then they rinse their mouth out, and they're not supposed to swallow any, and all this.
And then Paul actually tells the Christians as well, stay away from these things, these three things.
Just to be clear,
blood and idols.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that dude. I'm like, hey,
with what I said, I was not talking about one religion. I was talking about the use of blood in magic rituals collectively. We opened the door with that subject, and I was just expanding it to the concept of blood and oaths.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
And
I mean that's really what it's all about, is about the blood. Because even with Cain and Abel, if you remember that story, Cain was told that Abel's blood was crying out to the Lord from the ground. So the whole concept is, all of it within the Abrahamic faiths, I should say, is the idea that the blood is. So anybody practicing that is 100% doing black magic or just being super perverted.
what interesting thing about Cain and Abel, this goes back to the subject matter of free will and determinism. In one hand, you say Cain killed Abel because of spite, right, and jealousy, right? And the other perspective, which would be like, you could call it like the satanic or the inversion perspective, the inversion apologetics, would be saying that if no one has ever died on earth, how could Cain know that what he inflicted upon his brother would cause death if death has never occurred? Not guilty. Get it?
Yep.
And that's within the first story of the first crime is the first apologetics and defense. And actually that exact argument is Harvard Law. These types of things are what they talk about to present
Balance
argument.
and justice. Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Scales.
It's also like, it's called, the answer would be the morals, right? The energy. You would feel
Yes.
rage, but then again,
But-
you'd
but
say,
also-
did
but
they have the
also
free
what-
will if the chemical took off? Huh?
Hold on. Wouldn't the part that makes him guilty is the eating of the apple is what gave them knowledge of good and evil. So even though it's not already happened before, what knowledge was derived if it wasn't things like don't fucking murder people? Like that seems like as good and evil as it gets, right?
Yeah, that's funny that's funny that you say that, because I would say that good and evil existed before or after they were aware of it.
I agree.
So it would be that they were in a sleep.
Right. He gained the knowledge of it by eating of the apple. So then, but that knowledge, then he had it when he killed his brother, right?
Yeah.
Cain would have had
Yeah.
that knowledge. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
He would have known that it was a bad thing to do.
The inner knowledge, the inner
Yeah.
knowledge. Someone wrote,
Yeah.
there is no white magic. Well, then if you believe in prayer, then you would consider prayer white magic. Or if you tell someone bless you, and mean it, not just bless you because you sneezed. If you tell someone I love you, that's white magic. If you tell someone you love them and kiss them, this is white magic, right?
There's a reason that in the Bible, and this isn't me being critical, it says when two or more gather together, now you're going to be heard. You don't find it a little suspicious that it has to be that covens are always like 3 people where they have, or 3 or 4. It's always a little group depending on what you're picking, but it's always a group. It's not individual people. It's covens that you're worried about and things like that. It's very interesting. It just always takes numerous people all wanting the same fucking thing.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
all
I like
over.
that.
That's
Good
all over
point.
Deuteronomy. It's Deuteronomy. It's in Deuteronomy. It's in 2 places in Deuteronomy, like the 19th chapter. It says you have to take 2 or more people. A single witness alone cannot arise against man.
It
Yeah.
also speaks of
By the mouth of 2 would have to affirm, and the 3rd witness needs to be established.
yeah, it's also Matthew 18, verse 20.
No, but it's originally from Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15, and then Matthew refers back to the biblical law, and then Paul later. That's why Paul always had to have the necessary amounts of witnesses. That's why in Paul's story in the road to Damascus, he had to have the necessary minimum number of witnesses, so that way his revelation would be in fact accepted as divine.
I know what you're saying already.
That's why in 2 Peter, we don't even know who wrote it, but let's pretend that it was written. It has 3 contradictions. The first one is they saw the light that Paul saw, but didn't hear the voice. The second account says they didn't see the light, but they heard the voice. And the third account says they didn't see the light, didn't hear the voice, but saw what happened to Saul or Paul. That's in second Peter. It's a true problem. As far as
Actually, I may be the only person that does believe the Jews are their God's chosen people. That's not my God, but I believe that definitely the Jews are their God's chosen people. And I believe that they exist simultaneously.
I remember that from the debate, actually.
You know why it exists, because you have also 2 billion Muslims praying to it, and then you also have all the 2 billion Christians.
Well, that brings us back to the point that we were talking about earlier with the hive mind.
What's that thing called? Topo? What was that?
Topa.
Yeah, I said thought entity.
Topa.
Tupa. No, Topa is a Topa, by the way, everybody, is a Polish skincare company. Tupa is what we're talking about. Now I'll never fucking forget it, by the way. Thank you for implanting that into my mind. Yeah. Are we still there? Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah,
what were you saying about a tupa?
No, I mean, you can say it's the same concept. Like, someone can grant that that Yahweh is the God of the Hebrew people of Israel, and say that didn't create the universe. Both can be true at the same time.
So actually, what I'm really saying is that there's a bunch of God level entities, and they all tell their people their story, and their people. I think we are all basically little homunculuses that the different gods made. They're like, oh, these are my homunculuses. These are my homunculuses. These ones are better than these ones. These ones are better than these ones. Like anybody else. And I think they're just a different level above us. And so I think they all actually exist, and they all probably did say their story. The Hebrews probably are the chosen people of that particular God, but I don't think any of them are the creator God, because you can't converse with the creator God. Ben, you can't do that.
Ben, was I spot on when I created when I created the intro video for this show? Was I spot on?
Yeah, that was great.
That was spot on, right?
I gotta make a biblical correction. It wasn't in 2 Peter. It was in Luke Acts. Luke wrote about Luke was writing about Paul's revelation on the road to Damascus and the witnesses. Luke wrote that in Acts, not 2 Peter. 2 Peter was a different contradiction.
Yeah.
But
we knew what you meant. What you were.
Yeah, but someone's gonna clip it, be like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Well,
again, asshole. Yeah, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about on the side.
But yeah, if I mean, obviously you didn't get to play it this time because you haven't loaded it up yet. Next time we'll make sure to load it up. But if you pay attention to what the intro video for the show is,
where is the intro video? How do I find it?
Can we bring it up? Ben, do you have the ability to?
It's in my stream.
Okay, I have it. I will grab it. I do.
Discord, mine's actually loaded up where it's supposed to be, and we're in Omar's stream yard. So I can't pull it up.
Israel said,
give me a second. Hold on, I'll bring it up.
Are not a part of the children class. Here's the interesting thing. I'll address this really quick.
You do.
Okay. Nice. I would say that there is substantial evidence that from the southern portions, that some of those slaves could easily be from Judea. It's true, but not the whole thing, and not only, obviously, that's simply retarded. And it's also even further retarded when you're talking about the Native Americans, Puerto Rico, but they say Black and Hispanic people. This is just the attempt to bring everyone in because they saw how effective it was in the Nation of Islam, right? And so in one way, it's good that people can find their self-identity, because there's a lot worse things to identify with. But at the same time, it's not, it's there's a lot of spite there amongst them. They have, and I don't blame them necessarily either. And if
I actually get along with them real well, because I don't have a dog in that fight.
I don't have any. I don't have what they call white guilt.
To me at? I forget.
So I don't have the white guilt that people talk about. But if my family did enslave lots of Black people at a certain time,
send it to me and I'll put it on
that about it. But you know what I mean?
Send it to me in Telegram.
Anyway, but no, I mean it's like historically speaking, it's possible that some of the Black slaves that came to America through the transatlantic slave could have been. But the rest of the story about Black and Latino Native peoples is basically any brown or Black person in America, they're saying is that it's stupid. But it's a good thing if you're in New York. See, in New York, like New York's awesome, especially like Manhattan, this in the boroughs, right? So, you know, black Puerto Ricans and native peoples, like they all get along. Like they throw out the N-word. And New York is a cool place because if you're like a local New Yorker from Puerto Rico, and white dude with the right type of beard cut, you can just throw out the N-word all over because you're already accepted. So they just turn that into the thing. But, you know, but then they would say that the so-called Jews did the same thing. That's what they would say. They would say the European Jews did the same thing. So you guys have that argument.
See, I'll
I'll
Share
moderate
my
that
screen
debate.
anchor, baby.
I actually get along with him because I don't have a dog in the fight. It seems like his biggest thing is he doesn't want white people taking over his thing. I'm like, I don't want it to be your thing. He's like, well, cool. Like, I don't want to be your thing. I'm like, cool.
So you don't have to play the whole thing. Just skip ahead to where it shows the land mass. You'll see it. Just skip ahead.
See, and to me, Clay, the way I see this scientifically also. So when life was ready to appear here, it appeared, and that's the way things work. And
right there, go back. About 2/3.
Hey, this said they should take
more.
forced DNA tests. Yeah. By the way, DNA is hard to deny,
right there.
and everyone likes to run from the DNA test. I agree with you. DNA tests say a lot and track a lot of history between DNA classes and time periods of existence. I agree.
Howard.
Gardens of shadows, we ego creation.
That's exactly
shit.
what I think, dude.
We ego creation.
Noise. And to me, it's
going
like
down.
it's basically like when you get take some good bread and you put it in a place that's where mold conditions want to be, and you put it where mold conditions want to grow. Mold will just suddenly appear all over the bread. It doesn't appear in one spot and then spread out from one place. It pops up all over. And sure, some of the spots are bigger than others, you know, whatever. But the mold starts in 100 different spots as soon as the conditions for mold are there. And I think when the conditions for humans became on this place, then all the gods were like, well, I want my own humans. And they all just made their own little humans. And now we've been interacting and all these years. Because I think the original stories, and I know for a fact, the original stories, like with the Greeks and whatnot, Alexander the Great, literally what he called the world was the area he conquered. Everything beyond the world was the barbarian lands. And I think all the stories contain that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but what they just call you barbarian if you don't have if you don't subscribe to their society. And as soon as you do, now you're not a barbarian. The biggest barbarians they consider were the British, right? The Britannic peoples who were cutting heads off and throwing heads at people, and next thing you know, now
Nobody
they're
likes the British, though.
But I'm saying now they've been so smart. They've been so smart because anytime you watch a movie about ancient societies like Rome, they make sure to use a British accent, even if you're an American actor, right? They don't use any form of they use British accents to condition us. When you watch TV, you have America's Got Talent, but you have 4 British judges.
Got to be
Why?
right and proper.
Yeah, because it's called conditioning, you know.
Yeah.
And the same happens.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason.
My mother's side, Scottish and Norwegian, and we remember the Brits.
Exactly.
There's a reason Vikings raided British churches and such, you know.
Well, I can tell you the British tried to invade Afghanistan 3 times in less than 100
England.
years, and they got their asses handed to them. Just go look it up. Here's someone wrote free will. Okay. Can a will? This is a question, by the way. I'm reading this. You can tell when I'm reading because I have to go like this. Okay, I got a question for you. Like I'm coming up to the top of my head.
He's channeling it in.
Yeah, yeah. But I have to actually.
Theognosis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here, this is. I pulled some. I went to ChatGPT and I said, "Give me some powerful free will questions." Here's the first one: Can a will be free if the self that wills was never self-created? Yeah, that's retarded.
Yeah, I don't know
let's
why
move on.
you would need to be self-created in order to have your own will. That doesn't.
You
make
can
sense.
be, yeah, it can be
Oh.
created with will.
I didn't read those questions before. I asked ChatGPT, and I just decided to copy those 3 questions and put it in. That was a stupid question.
Yeah.
So
And it wrote, fate says you must, free will asks why. Fate says you must, free will asks why. That's not a question, though.
Yeah, that's really more of a statement.
Okay, well, here's the last question.
I'm confused.
Free will is the claim that the future is not fully written until we act. These are stupid. I just ruined the show with ChatGPT. All right, we're back. Those are the dumbest things I've ever said on the internet, right there. Okay, go ahead. Now I see when people make fun of people making ChatGPT arguments. Okay. Anyway, someone wrote, not even prophets. Hold on. Not even prophets, all types of motherfuckers, just teachers. Okay. What is self-created, and are we all gods? It depends on the level of what you mean by God and what you mean by self-created.
Yeah, we're not self-created, I wouldn't say, and we can reach a level that is above what other humans are because of going through different trials and opening ourselves up. I would say, but you're never going to reach the level of. I don't believe that I could be Odin, although I could take the All-Father's path and become an All-Father type figure. I would never be Odin himself, and nor was Odin the All-Father before him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it
can
just
only
depends on
emulate the gods, right?
That's like asking someone, like, is it possible that
Archetypes.
everyone can be successful? Well, it depends on what you mean by success, right? It's a similar thing. Like, what level do you
Beer and bitches?
No, but I mean, someone could be successful just moving to America. Someone
True.
could be in the middle of wherever, India, anywhere, and be successful in the eyes of their entire family by just moving to America and driving a taxi. I mean, it's very possible. And then someone can decide to become successful by being a Roman Empire and not even be from Roman.
Yeah.
Someone wrote, imagine how easily they got warped for believing in things that people from all walks of life in this modern day get duped for.
I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
I think it's a hypothetical. Imagine how easily they got warped for believing in things that people from all walks of life in this modern day get duped for. Sounds like a.
So actually this thing here, it's something that I was thinking about earlier, which is
that
dignity. Well, it leads into dignity, and how we view what if we believe in spirit, in free will or determinism. How does that play in with dignity, right? So are we deciding to act in a certain way just basically because I don't want to lose the dignity that I have in acting this way, or even still let's say it's not free will, and now are we just abdicating our responsibility to be a dignified and proper British?
And it's about honor too, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
the virtues of self-sacrifice, right? The more you self-sacrifice, the more you maybe have free will.
Rome comes in.
Impose your will without like El Perro said earlier, right? You have to kind of impose your will, otherwise your will just be flooded by other wills.
That's it. That's the thing. You impose your will on the others. Like Saudi Arabia has a proper kingship, right? But in those days when the British first discovered the oil, there were a bunch of people calling themselves kings and had like nine wives and like 42 goats and 14 camels, and these were all kings fighting each other. And the British just decided which one they wanted to crown and give them the weapons to kill the others, right? And then now that's the
British
family, the Saud. And but the Romans did it to the British too, because when the Romans came to Britannia,
I know,
they picked a couple and said, "You're the HNIC."
But Clay, talking about dignity, right?
Yeah.
Right. I kind of get what you're saying, right? Like
Yeah.
how you determine free will from that vantage, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
So
what
the
dignity is a thing that is part of your ego. So that's
Exactly.
part of the thing that fits in with the world. And of course, that's something that clashes against your, well, it might be
but it
something
has to
that
go
clashes
through the
against-
lens of honor. You have the ego has to be honor, and then the ego is like projecting, and then you create dignity through honor or through something.
Well,
No, but dignity is your own worth. Dignity is the value you put on your worth.
Worth
and
is
honor
a good
is
word.
the
Yeah.
honor is the moral, the morality, like of
Yeah,
integrity, courage.
Yes,
Things
but-
like that. Dignity is the will behind that, right? Like self dignity.
Well, self
But
dignity.
dignity specifically is your appearance to the outside world. You comport yourself with dignity. So what you're doing is, like, let's say you're getting sent to the execution chamber. They're like, well, don't go, even though you're scared shitless, don't let them see you're scared shitless. You comport yourself with dignity. And so what this is a projection to the outside world. And it's a show to them. So this is through your free will, you can choose to either comport and show the world what you need to show the world. In that case, with dignity, you're showing something that you want the world to see you as opposed to what you're actually fucking feeling. And you can easily show them that also.
Yeah, but dignity is like what you have inside of you, and honor is how you express it. So it's like the honor.
I think that's
like,
good. Yeah.
Honor is like you see someone trying to rob a woman, right? You have your dignity
It's a
means that what
responsibility,
you
but it's
consider
deeper.
your honor to be will go over there
Yes.
and impose there or there. And where it goes dark,
Like
of
an
course, is
instinct.
where it goes dark also if someone decides that their dignity, that they have so much power that they think they should have the highest honor to be the king over all of you, and then they're able to impose their will on others who enforce your will on others. That's
so
how
then he would join in with the robber or be the robber himself.
Start to organize, or if they're on the highest level of the genius, you would start having the robberies happen, and your special people would protect everyone. So this is, the problem, reaction, solution. That's what we're,
Well, that was Robin Hood, right?
Omar, I want to kind of disagree with you a little bit about honor and dignity. I think honor is more about adherence to a set of principles, whether others share them or not. Honor is a rule-bound thing.
Yeah,
okay,
honor is integrity. Honor is
then.
but honor. Remember, the principle itself. Hold on, principle. Honor would be like the principles, like integrity, courage, loyalty, honesty. Right? These are principles, right? But if you do not have the will, which would be the dignity to bring those, you don't actually possess those honors. If you don't have the will, dignity to stand up and express the honor of,
you're confusing integrity and dignity. Dignity is the state or quality of being worthy of respect. So that's
integrity is the action.
I was thinking about integrity.
Integrity is the state of being inside you that makes you choose the right way, no matter what the situation.
Sure,
that's
sure.
integrity.
I would say the integrity would be the integrity to do it, because if you have the dignity, which would be the will, and you have like the honor, the integrity would be going to do it even when you're tired. The doctor who says, "Is there a doctor here on the plane?" and no one knows he's a doctor, but he still decides. He has integrity.
The dignity, where dignity comes in, is when other people look at you. That's the dignity. That's why it says being worthy of respect. So when other
but you can't see dignity, you can see integrity.
No, the integrity you can have without having any dignity. Absolutely.
When was the last time you said, "Hey, Mark, that guy has a lot of dignity"? You say he has integrity. You describe the reasons why.
Because he did something without being recognized. The dignity, so that happens all day, every day. Dignity is something other people have. That's why you carry yourself with dignity. So that way other people are judging you in a certain way.
What do you mean
That's
other people?
ego asset.
So then you would actually be you would have the ability to show it. I think it's more about the ability when you're talking about dignity, right? So the integrity is like it already exists within you.
Yeah.
If it is there, you're already kind of showing that, but it doesn't need to be shown. Whereas dignity is the ability to show it.
This says, well, I just Googled, it says, dignity, honor, and integrity are all moral traits. Duh. They focus on different parts of the person's character. That's what we're all agreeing on. Dignity is about inherent worth. Honor is about social reputation and codes. And integrity is about internal consistency and honor. So honor means respect. Well, what do we say? Honor? We know that. Oh shit! Now we're adding an extra.
Times. They said honor numerous times.
No, now we're adding because we said integrity, dignity.
Yeah.
Just think about
we started with
Batman.
dignity, and then
Jesus
we came to
Christ.
integrity. So listen.
Okay.
By the way,
It's
if you listen
dignity,
to the word
your inherent worth. Honor is respect, status, and recognition given by society. That's what Balderson said, right? No, you said the opposite.
No, I didn't say
integrity
the
is-
opposite of honor. I said integrity was internal. It's like that's something that you don't get. You don't even necessarily always get recognition from the outside public. Integrity is like I do the right thing no matter what's going on.
Yeah, like the
Despite
person standing up at the
opinions of
plane,
others.
like the person standing up at the plane when no one knows he's a doctor.
So
He-
it's like
he could
the
just sit there.
the dignitary is the guy that you send because that's the outward
No,
position.
it says
of
right here.
your-
It says the official
of your-
definition of dignity is your inherent worth, self-respect, inside of you. Inside, it's not expressed. It's self-dignity inside of
Right.
you.
But
Integrity
listen
is
to the word.
the exercising of it, and the
The
honor
word,
is your moral values.
But you're so here's the thing. So I understand what you're saying, but
I'm not. I'm just reading the definition.
yeah, I know, but you still would be an observer for that.
I mean, this is the AI synopsis. It's not really the definition. I looked up the definition.
Okay. So what do you want me to type in?
I have a pretty long thread going here.
But just type in definition of it of dignity.
But listen to the
dignity,
word
inherent worth,
integrity.
the absolute value and human rights belonging to all people, self-respect, poise. Can you guys see this, by the way?
I'm old, not really.
good.
No.
The
Oh,
screen is
okay.
really
Okay. I see. You can see it, but it's shitty small. Okay, that's crap. Sorry. I could only see screen, so I couldn't see what you guys were looking at.
You
Anyway.
can't look. Hey, when
okay.
you're doing Google, just so you know, there's on the
No.
top right, there should be a zoom button if you need to go in.
Oh, okay.
And zoom in.
All right, next time anyway, we understand these are all components.
We're
The
getting deep.
question is that I guess to get it back to the
Components.
subject, the question is, does the honor, the dignity, and all the things we just described that exists within each of us, we have our own code, so to speak, our own
The
software.
old ego.
Do we have the free will to be
Okay,
that
but-
or not be that, right?
Omar, by the way, okay, so integrity, right? Integral, integration, okay? So it's like,
Inside.
okay.
Right.
It's about the constitution of something.
Yeah,
Integration.
yeah, that's a good word.
Integrity. So like the etymology.
Fortitude.
Yeah. Whereas dignity, the die is
dignified.
to separate. You have the dipole. Yeah. So it's the ability to separate it out from yourself and look at it even as
And
yourself or others
integrity
to
is
see.
moving in.
So that's why, like I said, my example of when you're going to a death sentence and you comport yourself with dignity, even though inside you are shitting yourself, you want to scream and freak out, comport yourself with dignity. And
The definition of
And when you
dignity
don't
comes
shit
from the
yourself
Latin word
inside, you have
dignitas.
true integrity.
Right.
Because you
Yeah,
don't shit yourself inside because you're like a stoic fucking mountain, right? You just you have
It says
integrity.
dignity comes from the Latin word dignitas, which means worthiness,
debts.
merit, and rank.
yeah,
Rank.
Yeah, right.
Dignus meaning worthy.
all things
To
that
rise.
are going to be judged by the outside.
And actually,
Yeah.
so
Dignity is an ego, is a portion of the ego.
So
right.
can
It's a
we build our
rise in the
dignity?
ego.
Can we
Yeah,
build
yeah.
our dignity?
Fuck yeah.
Right. So,
Acting
and I would
can-
say actually,
Yeah,
Howard,
yeah.
that I would choose joy over stoicism. So fear, you have two options, and I've done this little conceptualization. Stoicism sits at the bottom. Fear is in between, and you have to choose whether you're going to go up to joy or down to stoicism. Stoicism has its place, sure.
I like that.
Fear,
I like that.
yeah, if you go up to joy, then I'm not talking about like pleasure joy. I'm talking about just being content and happy with who you are. And if you do that, I think you sit at a higher platitude.
Well, I would say content is the stoic state. Joy and fear or sadness would be the non-stoic state. Content would be the stoic state.
Yeah, you're probably right on that. Yep, I can see that.
There's a Buddhist. There one of the Buddhas was the laughing Buddha, and he I can't remember which Buddha he's like in the middle. It's like the 10, 12, whatever. But he was a Buddhist monk, and he basically was considered like a Buddha because he spread joy. Everyone can make anyone smile, and then half of them would say like the guy was retarded. and
ignorance is bliss, brother, man.
He only wanted food, right? So people would you've seen when you go to a Chinese restaurant, they have the like fat Buddha guy. That's him. He was a Chinese Zen Buddhist monk, like the 900s or something. So maybe it's like the 8th Buddha. But anyway, it's called the Laughing Buddha. Look it up. And you put money because he also has prosperity. So, you know, when you go to a Chinese restaurant and you can put the money in the head, or it has money in its hands, and he's the fat Buddha, that's the Laughing Buddha. But other Buddhists that are more serious, they would say like, let's be serious. Like, you can't laugh your way to enlightenment. This guy, they say he was retarded. And that's, it's quite hilarious. But yeah, joy is important.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would say joy is actually like God, maybe actually.
See,
if you think deeply about it, you have to think really deeply and break your brain a little bit and be like,
See,
because joy is like, go, Ben.
I think God is separate from these things, and I think that everything works in this world works on a pendulum, and this is one of the. And I'm not saying stoicism is the exact place to be. It's not like I don't get some emotions, obviously, but when you go off on one side too much, and just like any pendulum, then the backswing is always going to be there. It's going to happen, and this is why, like, typically the most happy people you've ever met also tend to have a super high rate of self-deletion, like, because they go from one extreme state to another. So while I don't necessarily think that being at this complete dead center of stoicism needs to happen, I also try to control the back and forth of the pendulum. I don't get overly joyous and I don't get overly sad. I sit right in this kind of middle zone that I function pretty well in.
Hey, real quick, in my book The Courtesan, I just remembered I have a writing. It says a handful of destiny. It says we are all pawns in the hands of fate, yet the captain of our own destiny. Understand the difference between destiny and fate and become clearer on purpose and karma.
And
that was a question I had earlier. Like,
no, it's telling you to start paying attention. That's not an answer. That's a direction.
Well, and I was just going to say, you know, when it comes to this thing about joy and fear and everything in life, and everybody's talking about being stoic, I look at it more on, I'll say, a preemptive side, because no matter what happens in my life, whether it be good or bad, you know, the experience itself, I go into everything with what I call enthusiasm, because I know that just like riding a bike, I fell off and got some bumps and scrapes here and there. And that goes the same thing with anything else in my life. I may have enthusiasm about it and enjoy it and still learn lessons because of the mishaps. Right. Enjoy it. And by enjoining the mishaps along the way.
Acceptance.
Yes. Integration.
But autodidactic, being able to learn from my own experience, the observation of all my senses in everything I do. And I'm very enthusiastic about them. I enjoy all of my senses.
But isn't that in alignment? That's the original premise of Stoicism is being like in oneness in nature, right? It's being in like
Yeah,
alignment.
the integration and the acceptance would be Stoicism, 100%.
Oh, I have a
it's
good
like
question.
It's like a place of like neutrality. You don't really express emotions. You're just stoic. It's kind of like singularity or like a event or like archetypally the event horizon. Like you are the image of that thing, which is stoic. Which is being stoic is taking on, emulating the image.
Yeah, but you have to remember that also came from their belief in God being the logos, and the logos was impartial of good or bad or good or right or wrong in the moment, and so they were being in alignment with what the reality is presenting them, and not feeding any energy into anything. It had to do with their concept of. It was actually because if you look into the Stoics and the logos, that's where what's his name came up with it from originally. He said God is truth is inherently good, and good is the righteousness, and so the logo is impartial, so you can like rise above by staying in the middle of things. But
yes, it's the middle.
Now it seems like everyone's just saying don't respond. Now it seems like when everyone talks about being stoic, they're just saying like don't lose your shit.
Yeah, I mean,
noticed. They just say, "Don't lose your shit. Be stoic."
Hold on, Omar, because here's the thing about that,
joy,
right? And this is something
this
is something I've been working on for quite some time. So generally speaking, most psychologists would classify fear as an emotion. I would say it is, but it is the center. It is the driver. It is the driving force, right? So up would be joy, down would be stoicism.
Motivator.
But on the other two sides, right? So now we're going to talk about the sides. The sides would be one side would be everything that falls in the category of anger, and the other side is the everything that falls into the category of sadness. So you have the two primary emotions, sadness and anger. But in that middle ground is where everything about centeredness, I guess you could call it, sits. And I've been working on this for quite some time now. That particular diagram, and that's the way I see it. I know that there's probably some other trains of thought on what emotion is, but fear, stoicism, joy, those to me are all emotions that sit in the center. There's the line, but everything that's like sadness, depression, just absolute despair, that sort of stuff, or just like even before sadness, you just feel a little shitty, oh, this sucks, but then you've got the other side, which is anger, right, which leads eventually to envy and vengeance and all of that craziness. But before anger, it's frustration. It's just I'm a little frustrated with this, and then you eventually get angry about something. So you've got the two sides, you've got the center, and the hope is that you stay balanced. Sadness, I hate going to the sadness side because like with sadness, it's hard to climb out. Whereas with anger, so I typically lean towards the anger or the frustration, right? So instead of just feeling like a little sad, I'd rather feel a little frustrated with some things. And so trying to keep that needle at joy is very difficult, but I think that we all have to achieve it, considering our boundaries and the way that we act with the ego and all of that in that manner. We have to find that needle and try to keep it on that, path of joy as much as possible, without, completely, hitting rock bottom on either side.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you are. It makes complete sense, but it just depends on who you are, right? Because there's a lot of like, have you ever been to a Baptist church in Brooklyn, New York? And you never find a group of people with more joy, and they have nothing. So what they may need is more of that will, right? So that's why I think we're all different, even to the perspective of different blood types. Some people need more meat to be optimized. Some people need more greens, et cetera, et cetera. So it all depends on where we are on that thing. But it's the awareness
But
of what
I'm
Clay
a
just talked
vegetarian.
about.
I'm a
Well, no, I was
vegetarian.
just gonna say what Clay just brought up is the point that each person needs to determine and figure out for themselves. That's
so
the higher
we
awareness.
must have free will. If that be the case, we must be able to
I
balance
believe,
the
yeah.
emotion. Otherwise, we would be. Well, I mean, we're all crazy. Let's go ahead and admit that. But we would. Be
I was about to say you guys are a bunch of crazy motherfuckers. I was going to tell you that earlier.
Hey,
But we would
speak for
we
yourself,
would be
man.
all bipolar and schizophrenic and all of that.
Well, the thing with emotion is it's the opposite of motion, and so what usually you suffer from emotion from something that you can't do anything about is and also this is why emotion is usually something from the past. It's something you don't feel emotions on something that hasn't happened yet. Because you can't do anything with it. So now you've got to take this energy on this thing that you feel and you've got to try and move it somewhere without having any way to fucking actually move your body. That's why men aren't usually as emotional as women. And when Stoic in the comment in the chat, it's not that Stoics don't feel emotions. You don't show emotions. So you're feeling that shit, but then you'll go do something about it. That nobody said that a Stoic doesn't do something about it. You don't show it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the joy of the feeling of joy is there. The feeling of sadness is there. The feeling of anger is there. But the Stoicism is the balance of all of your emotions by being able to control them,
combining them and integrating them, right?
Well,
The alchemy.
alchemically transmuting them. Yeah, because you can only hold back something so much before it goes in rage, whether it's depression or anger or anything. The key is to transmute them inside of you.
I really think that thoughts and emotions are like classes of spirits in a sense, or archetypes, like, but they're living things and we are possessed by them to some degree. And this again is free will. Like, what is free will like? Right?
Let me tell you something, Howard. You're completely possessed right now. All of us are. Because if you believe in the soul, then your soul is in full possession of that body right now. Actually, that's the funny part. That's why all the demons are trying to get in this dimension and have you call their name, because they want to get back into a body too. Okay, and that's
walk right.
Everything wants to come back in. The angels and the demons alike are trying to get back into this dimension.
Like,
lucky us, guys. Why don't we just the bee's knees? We're here. Aren't we just the most popular thing in the known cosmos? All the spirits trying to get back in. Have you ever seen someone possessed? When someone's possessed, besides foaming and besides crazy stuff, they start going like this. Look. Because they can't fucking believe they're back in a body, bro. As soon as I see someone in a ceremony, all of a sudden, usually I'll know
they start shitting on themselves and eating the food and all that.
They can't believe they're in a fucking body. When I see that, I know it's time to show everyone why I'm call myself a fucking shaman.
Could you imagine experiencing this shithole without having any sensations? Like, they don't get any of our sensations.
They truly they remember. No, they can remember it. That's the problem. That's the ones in the dark spirits remember.
Again, could you imagine? It's like watching a movie and not being able to actually interact. Like, you can't, all your senses are gone. They aren't smelling or tasting or feeling anything. And could you imagine going through this experience without that? It's like just like watching a movie. The things that make it real are those senses. Like, the way that a person can tell whether it was a dream or not is typically you can't smell things in dreams, or you can't taste them. Them weird senses that you have to experience here.
We're all in a dream right now.
Well, I experience tasting and smelling in dreams.
Really?
Weirdly. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, but it's not like all the time. But it's a different sense. And I think like sensation might be the memory of the sense, in like you freeze it, like now it's a sensation. Sense at ion. Like when you break down words, dude, it's so interesting. Just like all these concepts. Principle.
Joel, Joel Wrath 23. We kind of touched on this. The one
Yeah,
person that comes-
Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
talked about
Mjolnir.
With the
Was
ancestors,
Mjolnir.
when they say dormant DNA, that means DNA that's asleep. You wake it up. It's inside of your bones is your ancestry upon this earth, and your cosmic ancestors in our DNA. So it's all connected, of course.
So I had a
Or
question. I don't,
field.
go ahead. Yeah, I had a question, and I felt like it was a pretty good one. Like I got my thread going, so like I'm always pulling ideas off of these threads as I'm researching and all that. So here it is, and this comes from more of a real physical perspective. If mindfulness alters brain structure through neuroplasticity,
Sure.
of course,
Sure.
where did the very first spark of desire to practice mindfulness come from? A free spirit or a brain pre-programmed to seek help?
Yeah, let's get Ant to answer that question.
I would say it was a spirit that was in a soul that was in torment because of the punishment its fucking brain is giving him, and it doesn't know why. So he tried to use that same brain to figure out what the fuck is the problem. But I'll tell you a little precursor to that story. They tried to jerk off their way to the problem and they realized that didn't solve forever. So they had to realize there has to be a different way. There was probably hundreds of generations of these people that thought jerking off was the way to solve this problem. And then another few hundred generations thought, well, we just rape people. And then 1,000 generations later, someone said, why don't we figure it out through the brain? And they were in Greece. And then here we are just a few thousand years from there, after all the jerking off and raping and wars didn't work. And we have mindfulness, yet we're still doing it all the same as before. Isn't that funny how we work?
It just
God
cycles back.
damn it, Shaman.
Cycles back to
He is the worst about it. It's
The
like it's
alchemy.
like his favorite word. I swear to God. I don't know if there's a single show I've ever been on with him that he doesn't say it 4 times.
What?
Oh yeah, you were just like graping, grape. Only you don't pull back.
Just say juice or
That's
something.
now, Ben.
Say orange juice instead.
This is like trying to have me. This is like trying to have me accept women with penises are women. This is like I can't say this word. I can't say this word. I can say any word I want. You know what I mean?
I get it.
cannot.
I get it.
No, I'm going to try.
I do my own panel, guys, and I do not. No, you're free to say it over there. I'm not monetized, so
Me either.
I
don't want to ruin.
I know.
I don't want to ruin their stuff.
I know,
Spin
I'm
just got monetized. Balderson,
I'm just saying this is one of the things that I recognize that interferes with my freedom of speech and your right to know. So if you want to say something, you want to be real about it, we can do this shit on my panel and not have to worry about that.
You know what? I'm going to start a show. I'm going to start a show, and it's going to be called the F Word. And I'm going to just start off. I'm going to start off on Rumble, and I'm going to start off the show by using every F word we're not allowed to use.
Yeah.
And then and especially the one that rhymes with maggot. That doesn't even have anything to do with sex.
Well,
it has to do with the type. It has to do with the lack of integrity. It has to do with the lack of integrity and a dignity that is expressed through words. A dignity that's expressed through words, but not through will. When we all say let's jump off this bridge, and one guy doesn't want to, then we go, "You're acting like a right
cigarette."
Yeah, no one there is talking about sex with the same sex.
Yeah.
Anyway,
with the problem with that though, Omar, is that while you are right that other platforms do allow it, it doesn't take long once you become a well-known person that the other platforms begin to hear about what you espouse, and then eventually YouTube or whichever platform hears about it, says, nope, we don't want you on that platform. Remember, Mr. Jones,
the first one in 10,
making the frogs gay.
The first debate I'm doing. The first debate I'm doing, like my own, with Sean Kelly, is I'm saying my 1 versus 10. I'm saying the manosphere is gay.
Yeah, you can say gay.
Yeah, well, you don't think it's going to slip? No, I'm
Just
gonna
like
say everything.
retard. Just like
But do you
retard.
know
is fine.
that? But do you know what kind of conversation that's going to draw? It's going to draw all of it. It's going to
Yeah.
draw
That's why I'm doing it. No, but
Holy
because
shit, that's
he's
true,
going. I know I'm drawing it all out.
Omar's trying to be viral.
No, he's casting
but-
a spell.
No,
he's
I'm
casting
breaking
a
the spell because when Kanye dropped the song in HH, everyone's like the song's HH. No, the song's in HH. You guys are taking away half of his spell he's breaking, and the idea is to take the two things you're not allowed to say and break it apart in a song. That's why people bop in their head. And so the last thing on that, so my entire premise of the Manosphere is gay, is I'm gonna watch people across from me acting like the word that rhymes with cigarette, right? And I'm going to call it out. The difference is that Sean is going to be able to bleep out when I say that word, and everyone's going to know what word I'm using. And my premise, I'll start off with a premise because it's a debate, and I'll say a group of men getting together to gossip and complain and blame girls for all the problems on the earth is gay. That's the argument.
Yeah, I think most of
it's not.
it.
Tell me how it's not. Because
while I agree with the heart of what everybody's saying, Sean Kelly is not a live show. He's going to clip those things out and he's going to bleep them. And I understand. I also don't like YouTube's rules. I fought the law and the law won. And my name got blackened for 5 years, actually almost 6. And I wasn't allowed to do this or have any kind of viewers, which is fine. Some of my friends and all of us lost our good channels. I had a giant channel, fucking gone. And they're like, your fucking channel where you show farm videos, you can keep that shit. You know?
Yeah.
But when in Rome, you do as the Roman. This isn't a public
grew
utility.
his channel like a farm.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to control I'm trying to blend in with that. But the point is also with gay is not even talking about the sex. It's the point is that for some reason it's socially acceptable right now to just blame women for everything. But yet any generation is to say we have the same problems in men. Like, for example, they're like, oh, the OnlyFans generation. Well, and then I was in that other debate and it was the one guy. I said, tell me a guy who's in his 20s that's the epicenter of masculinity. The dude named Clavicular. I was like, the guy with all the plastic surgeries and the makeup and like, what are you talking about? We have a generational problem that goes across between men and women. Blaming one half of the problem is a half truth, and it's going to solve half the problem. So,
yeah,
but I just think that
I have another question.
It's a weird, and by the way, all those guys also are also your ortho bros, and they clearly just hate girls. Like, and Nick Fuentes is like, ew, women. Who wants to be around and marry a what? It's like, I don't know, every guy that likes every straight person on earth.
Yeah, it's a psyop.
So my question is actually about that very thing. It's a perfect question. Does blaming a bad mood
vagina? Why would anyone want to be involved with that? It's like, really? And he has like tens of thousands of people like, that makes a lot of sense. Why do you want to touch a vagina if you're a guy?
Vaginas
like,
are gay.
Who was it that was on with Nova Star the other day and told her that she should cover up? Or was it?
Dude,
was it
I'm with Omar. I think those guys are all gay. Like, you don't want vagina on tap, don't get married.
Let me
that
tap
was
on
called
this.
vagina on tap.
Pepper, you have to understand the context of what I'm using. When we're saying the ortho bros are gay, what we're specifically talking about is not like they actually. We're not saying homosexuality. We're talking about. Well, we are in some. Let's be clear here.
To some extent.
We are.
The closeted deniable.
Not all.
denier.
I'm using slang of gay because they seem to be the
We
ones
grew
that
up in
pushed
the
it.
90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they hate. They're the ones. No, but they're the ones who hate gay people and etc. etc. It's like, but they act like what they blame. You blame women for all your problems. Let you debate like a woman. You nitpick like a woman in a debate. What they call. You say you hate gay people. And all those things, but you guys act like the same things. So it's confessions through projection. So yeah,
they have overflowing.
It's also
overflowing divine feminine, which is out of balance and chaotic, right?
But in order to counter that argument, they will say that they think like their enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's I'm using their terms, because if you say, I said red pill, and then he says no, say manosphere, because when you tell, like, what Andrew Tate, on one level, he did a lot to like break a certain spell, but then at another level, it's like he said, we're having sex with a woman with a condom is gay. If you have sex with a woman, it should always be to try to get her pregnant. What? That's the most right. But if I was 16, maybe I'm like, this fucking guy's got it figured. Who knows? That's my
genius,
point. Right? Or it's a genie, for sure. So on one end, you have Hegelian dialectic. You have on one end, like, you have one perspective of like, stay away from the women. On the other hand is like ultra misogynistic, and they should bow to you when you walk in the room, etc. So that whole thing I'm calling gay as a
true dichotomy. Oh, so let me ask this question, because this literally is about this very thing, bro. Like, does blaming a bad mood or a poor decision on low dopamine or bad hormones expand a person's agency, or is it just the ego using medical terminology, which you can just say manosphere technology for that, or terminology, manosphere terminology, to avoid moral accountability? I don't know if I
can you say that first part again?
Yeah.
Or am I high enough?
He's pretty much saying, is it okay to blame women for being moody while they're on that time of the month?
Well, no. I'm more talking about the guys, and specifically about what Omar's talking about. If you can expand into that, does blaming a bad mood or a poor decision on low dopamine or bad hormones, right? So the men blaming the bad hormones, the women, expand a person's agency, like, now I'm smarter for this, or is it just the ego using medical terminology?
No, it's confessions through projections. You're blaming someone. It's drawing.
That's not what the question means. What the question means is, when you blame your hormones on a bad decision, are you expanding your agency, or are you just blaming it on using biology and science to excuse your bad behavior?
Perfect.
Look, one guy, not to bring into the subject, I'm going to try to use the right words. Okay, here's the test. There's two people. One person, unfortunately, was molested, is allowed to say, and raped. Right, in their household.
Okay.
Grape. Okay. That's one guy. Two people. One guy. Both have that thing happen to them, right? Their whole childhood, right? One guy ends up doing the same thing. The other guy not only does not do that, but dedicates his life to like stopping that, helping those who unfortunately had that, God forbid, had that happen. The same experience, two different integrities, two different overcoming, two different consciousness, and two different people with two different missions, right? One they blame and one they fix. They fix and fix,
Yeah.
That's a little deeper than what his was. His was, are you blaming your body chemistry, which is basically me saying, I made a bad decision because I had, the example was low dopamine that day. So I made a bad decision. Is that me understanding myself to a greater extent, or is that me excusing my poor behavior on these situations? In other words, saying that I could have possibly controlled my behavior, even though I had low dopamine.
Yeah, but Andrew Tate was beaten by his father. I mean, joined the club. My father was a Pashtun warlord from Afghanistan. So just to be clear. So,
I mean, drug, like serious drug usage.
My dad was in Vietnam, dude, and he had some PTSD sometimes, man. He was my
dad lost his mind all the time, easy. But I smacked my son, who's
good,
like 3 times before in his life. No, 3 times in his life. I'm saying, not 3 times a day. More. We had this retarded debate with this other guy.
He was different. He didn't need
whatever.
He didn't need. Okay, we're moving the subject.
Anyway,
he didn't need it. But if he did, what would I have done? Free will.
Yeah.
Free will again. But he didn't need it. He was always good. He was this.
you're different than I. your point is good because, you know, essentially, like I'm 100% about, you know, parents doing what is proper within discipline. And essentially at that point, you know, you are responsible for your children. That, you know, there is no child alive today that the parents aren't responsible for. Now the child is also responsible for their own actions, but the parent needs to have that responsibility as well. Otherwise, the child doesn't learn. That's the whole point of the word discipline.
I agree.
You're tempering them.
Exactly.
Tempering meaning you take a hammer and you temper the iron, right? You shape it, right?
Yeah, just to be clear, if I didn't have if I didn't have my father raise me the way he did,
I love that
I'd probably
analogy,
a fucking
You
arch
don't use a
criminal
hammer, use
or
a
in
belt,
prison
though.
for life. You know what I mean? Like I was wild as fuck, you know, so
right.
You know, definitely, you know, but the question is, if I wasn't me, would it have been different? You know, so
now
who knows?
here's the question on that.
Yes,
so if the
because-
child's
yes.
conscientiousness is being trained, okay, he's now making
but like having good parents really fundamentally shapes your free will, like your capacity for free will. Truly, like if you have really, really solid parents, your capacity for free will is like infinite, dude. You have potential all around you. You become potential.
right.
I mean, that's
so
kind of like I'm just like
saying is true.
Anyway,
then that the truth sets you free. The truth will set you free. Right. So if you understand the world because you have been tempered and you can maneuver through the world because you've been tempered, it sets you free. You are able to make appropriate choices and you live longer for it.
Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and,
the exception is not the rule.
I want to say that these days kids are not disciplined. They are acting like bastards. And I'm saying this because I worked at the school this year. And let me tell you, kids are saying things to your face that, you know, when I was a kid, I couldn't even think about. And it's scary.
No way. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Being a 80s baby. Yeah, try that shit in my house.
I was not even raised in the 80s. I'm like a 2000s kid. But you know, we still had discipline. If I called my mom something, my dad was like angry with me, and you know, after being angry with me, I would learn not to say the same thing to my mom ever again. And I think that kids today, they don't have this discipline. They speaking about dignity, you know.
I got a question. Have any of y'all had to choose your own weapon for punishment?
Oh yeah,
of course.
Yes.
What punishment?
So shoot.
I'm saying getting a licking, getting spanked, where you got to choose a belt, a fucking coat hanger, a flip flop.
Sometimes it wasn't a choice, and every once in a while, yes, it was.
You got to go.
And that was your parents. That was your parents exercising their free will on how to punish you. See that?
But then that's fucking intimidation.
It's like a gauntlet. It's like some of the corners are going to be like, oh, this is sharp elbow, awkward angle, like. But usually,
so I have a story.
Like, growing up is pretty like.
I have a story. I know that everybody's got their stories, but I want to tell mine first. There was this paddle. It was the paddle, right? And it was a Kroger paddle, right? Of all brands, it was literally Kroger on the paddle. Okay. Now we threw that paddle in the trash. We threw it in the fireplace. We threw it in the bonfire. We went and buried it. Multiple times this paddle somehow came back. This paddle is a demon.
Like a Ouija board.
Yeah,
like a cursed object.
I personally threw it in the bonfire. Okay, and then later, after we're all grown, you know, I was talking to my sister, and I said, "You remember that?" You know, and she's like, "Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? But check this out. Mom's still got the paddle." I said, "What?" She's like, "Yeah," and so I think I'm going to go over. I think I'm going to go over there and get it for my boys. I said,
God.
"Don't do it! Don't do it!" She said, "I'm going to." And you know what's funny? She did, and she still
Genetics.
has that paddle. She still has that
Genetic
paddle.
inheritance.
That's a demon. That's what you call a demon. But that's my story.
Or the paddle.
That's a
the
cool
paddle.
story, though. Yeah.
The paddle's the demon.
Yes.
Cursed object, dude.
And it has
Jody.
control over your sister's mind. You have
But
to go
that's
rescue
true.
your sister from the paddle.
Like a Dybbuk.
No. Ultimately, I washed my hands of it. I'm no longer there.
Well,
you know what?
That
It's
was you
crossed-
exercising free will.
Yes.
Your integrity.
Want nothing to do with this.
Your morals are protecting your sister and the integrity of shaky grounds.
I left home a long time ago. She is her own free agent.
Are we able to call people from this show?
Have you seen Ghosts before, Clay?
I want to call Clay's sister and ask her if I'm gonna be like, honestly, you don't know me, but I'm.
This is a true
trust
story.
me, I come in. No, I'm gonna say no. I believe the story. I'm gonna say, do you feel as is she older or younger? Are you the big brother or little brother?
She's the older. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. If Clay was your older brother, would you have hoped that he would have not let you take the paddle home? And she's gonna say, yeah.
No, she would have gotten it. Even my older brother wouldn't have gotten it.
Oh man, exactly.
Yes, it's because it's my sister.
Because you got it.
So,
You guys were the
what'd
ones that
you-
got it.
What'd you get beat with? What'd you get beat with?
Bro, everything.
Like a hose? I mean, what are we talking about?
I don't need to describe. My dad's 6'4", like 225 pounds, from who interrogated
Well, you
Soviets
literally
in the
just
Russian war.
You literally just corrected yourself by saying you don't need to describe it. I didn't care about your dad and how tall or how big he was. I asked what weapon he used on you.
Jody,
Whatever he wanted to.
Mr.
Yes,
Jody.
Howard. Yes,
Yeah.
Howard.
That's not Howard.
The worst was his hand, though. The worst was his hand, to be completely honest, because his
Hand of
gigantic fucking lion paws. You know what I mean? That's the worst. So anything actually is better than that. Maybe he picked other things as mercy, because one hand in the hand, even if he caught you when you walk and he slapped you in the ass or the leg, and he like nicks you barely, like the thing would be a fucking welt. It was shocking.
Kinetic after image of his hand just smacks you out of body experience.
Yeah, no, he just did. Yeah, he just had a full speed, bro. It's like
Hit you
it's
so
impressive. It's
So
impressive.
Lie out of body.
So true story. My brother, I'm the youngest of three.
Yeah.
My brother
Wait, what were
called
we
my
just
mom a
talking about
bitch.
like 5 minutes ago?
Okay.
The weapons
Yeah, okay.
used
Enough
for
stories of
punishment.
children getting smacked, or
Yeah, I was just thinking we got
and no more
derailed.
children for no more children for
Got
tonight's episode.
derailed. What happened?
Fair enough. I had to tell mine because mine is like
No.
we were talking
Now it's
about-
fine, but let's just move on. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, everything is fine before. Let's say I
we
said
were
something
talking
too.
about something specific, and then it kind of got into.
Well, that's what. Yeah, something triggered my
Yeah.
brain into that.
What was that?
Excuse me, gentlemen. May
You
I
wanted to
say
ask me what
something?
my father. You asked me what my father used to smack me with to open the door, so you
No,
could tell
way
us what your
before-
father smacked you with.
Way before Clay, way before all of that, there was something else.
Well, I don't remember what we were talking about. So, but we were talking about that. But before that,
we were talking about the manosphere.
No, let's move. Yeah.
yeah, kind of, yeah. And
Can
then
I slip something
before that.
before we change the conversation?
Yeah, we should.
Jody,
Yes, sir.
you need to distinguish between my accent and Howard's accent.
Yeah.
Well, who else is on panel?
It's
Jody.
me, Mr. Saucer or Sauce.
I'm White Blade.
Oh,
Wait,
flying saucer. Oh shit! I didn't even see you. Sorry, bud.
Jody.
Yeah, nobody sees me.
I can't
Hey,
hear Jody.
don't
Maybe.
worry, Saucer. The problem really is this is a ventriloquist panel and has been for about 3 weeks running.
Damn. Jody, you're muted for me. I think I can't hear Jody. Damn it. Jody's
Howard, how
probably
come every
tracking.
I
time
go
this
out
happens-
in, Howard.
Yeah, Jody's like cracking jokes. I can't hear.
Why does it
him.
happen? Are you?
Sorry,
Yeah, are
Jody.
you? You know what you should do, Howard? Download the StreamYard app, and then you copy the link and put it in there. It works better than the internet.
Now we
I
can't hear
even hear
you,
him.
Howard.
I can't hear him either.
Hello.
Howard, put the sunglasses on. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Hey, Saucer, where are you? You're overseas, right? Or you're in the Middle East?
Yeah, I'm in
It was
the
a guy in the chat, El Perro. It was a guy in the chat that got that started.
Yeah, it's morning for you, right?
Yeah, I'm in the unholy land, as I call it.
That's right. That's right. I didn't want to say it because you told us before, but yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah, there we
persons
go.
are. The question is the land holy regardless of the people, or do the people make
No,
it
I'm
holy or
saying-
unholy?
I'm
No, that's-
saying unholy. In
Yeah.
general.
No, I know, but I'm saying the interesting question would be: is the land holy,
You don't
period,
sound like
regardless
you're-
of our actions or inactions, or do we make the land holy or not holy? That's the interesting part.
I think that the history regarding this land is unholy. I think there's so many generations that spill blood on this soil, and I think that this land is cursed.
Well, you
And
know,
I think, and above all, I think that the Jerusalem needs to be nuked. But that's a different story.
because of the unholiness collective.
Yeah.
You're saying you're making a statement not just because Jews have it. Now you're saying the whole history. You're saying period.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not only blaming my people. I'm blaming everything that surrounds this land. I think that God abandoned this land, and that's it. I think that even if we were the chosen people, I think that we passed the torch long ago.
Well, it was a conditional covenant. It's spelled out very well.
To be fair, you live in a real shitty desert area. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I am living
mean,
in
a-
a shitty. I
A
do
glass
live in a
parking
shitty
lot isn't a
desert
bad
girl
idea.
Well,
Bad idea.
I have a writing in my book about this subject you just said. It's called The Death of Deception.
Nice.
okay.
It's not a very popular one.
I like
Okay.
it.
Like your God was like, God, it sucks here. I can
Perception
leave.
is like that's perfect.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's free
sucks.
will. Free
No,
will.
it's
Yeah, that's
It's
free
a death
will
of
for sure.
perception, maybe.
I have the book. So people just turn to a random page, and ironically, it's like right in the middle. And I've seen and I have this book translated in Hebrew also, and so we had like Hebrew versions of it going around. And twice, Rabbi opened it to that exact page, and they said the death of deception. I said, oh fuck, because I know because what they had to read because it's not. It basically says like. Whosoever calls upon thy name in vain will feel thy wrath. Yes, this was the first promise made to us. Yes, and this will be the only promise kept, and the fee paid in the blood of the innocent. That's the nice part. So,
I got a question for you, Omar.
The
When
idea
you
of
were doing-
the idea of getting the place back so you can start the animal sacrifices. That's a little like I don't think we need the animal sacrifices. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's
I
chill
think it's all bullshit.
Jody, tell me.
Jody,
Yeah, Omar.
I can hear you, Jody.
So
Sorry, dude.
Let's go.
So while you were I apologize for interrupting. While you were doing your Jewish tangent based off of the bloodline and this and that, I only got one question. Are Jews a race or a religion? Because based off of what that guy said, he said you're not a Jew unless you have the blood, right?
Okay.
And then he went on this giant long thing.
Yeah, I'd say go
Religious
ahead,
race.
I'd say go be a Jew all you want according to what you think a Jew is. I'd say the most important part would be an Israelite, which would be a Hebrew person who accepted the covenant of Moses and can express it through Judaism, as you would call it, the religion through the Torah. But the idea that you're just chosen because of your blood and you don't believe in the God, but then the God's promise count, but you don't believe in that God. This is like saying 72 genders. This is telling me 2 masks. This is telling me your shot. You have to get a shot, so my shot works. I don't accept bullshit reality.
Wait, Jody, who said that? Me?
Yeah, the other guy. No.
No, there was a comment a while back.
It was a comment. I'm going to get into that debate. I'll have that debate. First, I have to finish 2 more Christian debates. Then I'm going to have the Jewish debates. You're probably going to like that one. And then just when everyone thinks I hate Christians because of these debates, which is starting to come out, which is crazy. Then everyone will start thinking I hate Jews, and then I'm going to have the Muslim debates, and then that's the end of my religious debates. I've got 5 more religious debates scheduled, and it'll be a fucking masterpiece by the last one.
You better watch out.
I was just curious if it was because a lot of Jews think that it's a race.
The Jews today,
he said it though in his answer. He said it was the religion. It's the religion of the Hebrew people. Hebrew people is the race.
Yeah, Hebrew people exist. When the Hebrew slaves were released from Egypt, this was a certain amount of Hebrew people. The Bible likes to tell you 600,000 military-age men, 2 million people. There was not 2 million people in all of Egypt, but let's just pretend. There were other Hebrew people living in other fucking places. Not every single Hebrew person on earth was a slave in Egypt, okay? And those certain Hebrew people that were in Egypt as a slave, that took a covenant with a man named Moses, and accepted the Shema and heard the commandments, those became Israelites. Jews, as you say, are 2 tribes of Judea of 10 tribes of the other 10 that were in Samaria, right? So, I would say it would be more important. You should, instead of worry about being a Jew, which is a lot, now they even just say just flat out ethnicity and culture. I would say maybe you should take yourself and start trying to become more of a proper Israelite, a proper, proper religious person. Yeah. And because, the outfits, but the Orthodox, who are the most religious, who I know many of, a lot. There are truly a lot of them truly religious people, but they are also infested with the culture from being in Russia for 2,000 years that they get wasted on Shabbat. I mean, drunk off vodka. What's more Russian than that? Than Friday night getting drunk off vodka? There's nothing holy about that. So, society and culture is a big thing, but you have to, it's for each person to decide. If someone observes the Torah, then they're a Jew. I don't care what their skin color is, and the God of Abraham didn't either. But if you say you're a Jew because you're a cultural or a genetic Ashkenazi Jew, okay, you're a Jew to me too. But if you tell me I don't believe in God, but I'm a Jew, I'd say, okay, now I know you're just ethnically Jewish. So I'm not going to give you the religious respect because you don't believe in that thing. So the respect I have for, quote, Judaism, I'm not going to give to a person who doesn't believe in the God of Judaism, because I know they don't actually have the morals in which came from that same book.
Yeah, I agree.
Same thing with Muslims. Same things with Muslims as well, by the way. Same thing with Muslims as well, and same things with Christians. That's why I don't like a lot of these Christian apologists we starting to debate. They're like lying right in front of us, and it's like most Christians are like actually quite honest people. Like the
Omar, may I add something to this? I think that most people from Oriental cultures like Judaism and Islam, they think that.
Did you call Judaism and Islam Oriental?
Yeah, like Eastern. Not like Eastern China or something like this.
Middle East.
Middle Eastern religions or cultures. I think that basically when we don't believe in God or something like this, I think that there is something that it's like it's written about with the sperm of Abraham, that we still possess the bloodline. So we expect people to recognize us as, Jews or Muslim or whatever. And I think that is kind of bullshit. And I personally don't respect that.
But on the flip side, you think that Benjamin Milikowski should be the leader of the country and supposedly the leader of the fucking basically religion?
Who again?
Benjamin Milikowski.
Oh, you mean
known as
Bibi?
Netanyahu?
Bibi?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have my own opinions about Bibi. If we want to dive into politics,
he's over there. We know he's not. He's not.
We're understanding that all the leadership in Israel, none of them have any Semitic blood. This is what mindset you're looking at leads to. So you have a bunch of people representing something that don't belong to it, and they're fucking crazy.
But Clay, Clay, Ben, here's my point though. Even if that's what I was saying about the religion or any religion specifically is if I meet a person, I don't care if they're albino from Poland or if they're like a black Nigerian African. If this person is truly a Torah observing Jew, then then to me, this is a Jew is what I'm trying to say, not just because of a proclaimed bloodline. But again, if we're talking about the bloodline of the Semites or the Shem, or if the bloodline of Abraham, Ishmael also comes from Abraham. That's why the angel of the Lord visited Hagar before she even talked to Sarah and told her she would get pregnant. So, and then visited them several times and talked to, so the angel of the Lord spoke to Hagar more times than she did Sarah. Spoke to Hagar 3 times. Talked to Abraham 4 or 5 times. Like, not that bad. So but again, I don't things. No. My point is that I don't believe it doesn't matter ultimately because people use these things for self-righteousness, right? And I see how it can work. I see how it can go down the fucking dirty drain, because most of the people that you say like the Ashkenazis that you see in Israel, for example, they're like Europeans, obviously, right? But we have to remember they're raised in the Soviet bloc. So these are Soviet.
They have no Semitic blood, and they're the ones that push the weirdest agendas where you don't see the actual people with Semitic blood liking those agendas even, and they do it in their name.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, you're over there, of course.
Yeah, okay. So basically, I kind of agree with what you're saying. The thing is, I think that people don't consider this too much, but a lot of
that's why he changed his name, so that way people wouldn't consider that. Benjamin Milikowski sounds very Polish. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't.
Okay, but that's beside the point that I'm trying to make. A lot of people in Israel from Russian heritage are not full Jews. They are inner, how you call it? They are mixed. Not that I have really a problem with this. I mean, I grew up with Russians, and I know how to read Russian. I know how to speak. But at the end of the day, I have more like a secular point of view. I think that Israel is not only a place for Jews. I'm talking more about theoretically, okay? A Jewish homeland is not only for Jews, it's for people who are called by their native, I guess, the people from, they're coming from Jews. Like Nazis considered people who didn't even know they had Jewish ancestry Jews. So I think there is a place here for these people. And I think that a lot of people fail to understand that.
No, again, what I was specifically
you did counter my point though. These people like Benjamin Milikowski have no Semitic blood.
Okay, but how do you know this?
Because they did blood tests. There's actually, what was it? This was St. Hopkins University or something. One of the bigwig places did a whole thing and said almost no Ashkenazi Jews have any Semitic blood whatsoever.
Really, I didn't know this.
I don't know. Look, I know all the conspiracies and I know all the theories on the subject. So all I'm saying personally is that if a person holds to the covenant outlined very well in Deuteronomy, holds to the Shema of this covenant and observe and is a Jew, meaning believing in the God expressed through the Torah, then this is a Jew to me regardless. So the problem I think we have in the world right now is not necessarily the actual religions, it's ideologies within the religions. I think the problem in Islam right now is an ideology called Wahhabism. I think the problem in Judaism is an ideology called Zionism. And I think the problem in Christianity is the ideology of Zionism to these evangelical preterist, the post-millennial, premillennial dispensationalist, Genesis 12:3, if I bless Israel. Yeah, but this, again, I just want to make a very distinct line. To me, those are not the people for those books or those religions, right? So the blur the line, someone says, I don't believe in God, but I'm a Christian. You say, what? If someone says, I don't believe in God, but I'm a Muslim, you say, what? Someone says, I don't believe in God, but I'm a Jew. We know what they're talking about. They're talking about ethnicity, okay? And when they're talking about a cultural and a historical connection to something. But I would go, and I always go, to what does this word even come from and what does it mean, And so in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 13, it very easily spells out about the declaration from Yahweh to his covenant and what he commands you to perform and believe in, etc., etc. So if you don't adhere to those things, then I understand that I can say, okay, fine, you're ethnically Jewish. Okay, great. But this doesn't mean shit to me compared to someone who says I'm a God-fearing Jew, or I pray 5 times a day, I'm Muslim. You know what I mean? It's a different respect level. Like, I don't care what culture someone goes, I'm Nigerian. Okay. And someone goes, I'm Jewish. I don't give a fuck if you're Jewish, Nigerian, if you are American, you say I'm English or I'm British. I don't care what that is. So I don't give it, to me, I don't put anyone on pedestals or lower them immediately if they tell me where they're from. But but I also don't have any of these, but I have more respect for the Jews that are religious Jews. Some close friends.
I understand this.
Super religious. And there will never be peace in that land until it is ruled by someone who is religious, because that religious person, just as Abraham was buried by both his sons, Ishmael and Isaac, at the same time, the axe, the sword pointed at each other's throat will never get buried until a truly religious person is in control of that land, because they will allow the other religious people to come there, and they will all allow them to be religious at the same time. And until that day happens, and you better believe they're going to do everything they can. When I say they, I mean the handlers, the spiritual controllers that want everyone to get to Armageddon and kill themselves, the eschatological convergence of the end of our world because God said so, are all trying to get. And there will never be a true clean rabbi in charge of that country because we have a Melikowski. There'll never be a really clean Muslim ruler of the Muslim world because we have the House of Saud. They'll never be, because they were all put in place. You understand? They were put in place by the powers that be. But until the peoples in those lands stand up, you have a big problem. Israel, you have a big problem. You have this far right, crazy extreme, and you have a far left where you're proud to have the gayest population on earth.
The thing is, Omar, I completely agree with you, and I want to say something to Mr. Balderson.
Yeah, you're Jewish. Of course, you're Jewish, brother. Of course, you believe it. With you, this is the best possible solution.
No,
for
it has nothing to do with me having like Jewish ancestry. I want to say, Balderson, I did not mean like to counter your argument or attack you. Just to clarify this. And yeah, Omar, I agree with you. The problem is, I think that a lot of people in the West don't understand this. People around Russia, people around Israel, people around, I don't know, places that have wars, we are mostly trying to get by in our lives, and we are too tired to rise up, because we are always thinking about survival. We're always thinking about, okay, if we get Netanyahu out of the government, what will happen next?
Exactly. I agree. I agree with you. People say, oh, Putin is the problem. Who knows what's coming after him? We don't even have any idea. Could be 10 times worse or 10 times better.
When I see the people blaming the Russians for Putin, I grew up with Russians. I think they are humble people most of the time. And you can't blame everyone for the actions of the government. Of course, you can go deep and say, yeah, that's because you're not rising up. It's true, but there are other things revolving around their lives. They they need to feed their families, they need to work. What happens if they lose all this? You know, there will be always a vacuum when you know, the governments will get rid of these people, the people who protest, and we saw this in the first days of the war in Russia, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's it. Here in Israel, we always think about like you know, okay, we demolish the government or something like this. So if there will be no order, well, there will be a second Holocaust, I guess. That's what we think. So
yeah, you guys have been programmed again. It's indoctrination, right? And that's part of the problem. The whole, you know, newsflash, the whole world isn't trying to kill all the Jews, man. You know, we case in point with World War II. You know, there's a lot of countries and tens of millions of people's lives that were lost fighting against this thing that was classified as evil and the Nazi ideology, fascist ideology, and you know, that whole other side, so to speak. But again, the problem for the whole world is in the same problem. You have to realize everywhere we are, and I'm in America, I'm in Miami Beach, right? Like I'm in Miami, Florida. Everyone everywhere is being, we know, this thing called money and this need to, and you know what I mean, just be stable. And you know, I know people who makes tens of millions of dollars a year, they don't feel stable because they're, you know, the whole world is on tilt, right? A poker term. Like the whole world is on the edge and on tilt, and that's how they're able to have order through chaos.
Yeah,
because they create the chaos on the earth in every nation. That's how people gain power over certain others, you know.
Yeah, it's through fear. But the thing is, there are also some truths to those fears, you know. Like there were
history.
Yeah, there were massacres in pre-Israel Palestine or Palestina that were basically anti-Jewish, and the British did nothing to stop this. So we do see historical facts, and we say, well, you know, these are the facts that can happen again if things won't work a certain way. So I think that, well, I agree with you. The problem is, I don't think it needs to come from one group of people. It needs to come from both sides of the conflict.
Yeah, but brother, you know, if you know history, you know that the problem has never been some mass massacres from the Muslim world to the Jews. The Ottomans ruled Israel for 400 years. Imagine if there were massacres there, there'd be 50 movies about the subject.
Yeah,
the reality on the ground. The reality on the ground is the Middle Easterns that moved over happened to be the Jews, and anti-Semitism was created in Europe. We know how, we know where it was, not in the Middle East, and when they ran back to the Middle East. When the bombings were happening in Tel Aviv, where was the first place that tens of thousands of Jews running? They were boarding and going to Jordan, and they were open. Imagine, you know what I mean? So the Muslims have never, the highlight in the last 2,000 years of Jewish history and theology and intellect was done and created during the 781-year rule of the Muslims ruling Spain.
Yeah.
So you know, the classic thing. No, not you. I'm just saying in general. The funny part today in this Western society is like, oh, the Muslims are trying to kill all the Jews. When in history, when was this mass Holocaust? Jews were in World War II, when Hitler told everyone on earth, kill the Jews and we'll protect you. Name one Muslim country that started exterminating Jews. Is this not real? No, Iraq. Oh, well, we can talk about what happened with that, and even the King James Hotel. I mean, we can do a different episode on that. I study this entire history because I know that everyone's being lied to, right, and being pinned against each other. And like, look at now. You know, I mean, Israel supported Iran. I don't know, I'm getting political. Israel supported Iran, defending them against Iraq war that we Americans put Iraq. Yeah, so look how it all changes. My point is there are puppet masters controlling the whole thing. Make no mistake about it. And those puppet masters have nothing good for no one in their mind, and in their will and in their integrity is only to one force, which I would call evil upon the earth. And this would get into the next week's episode with Balderson and Clay about black magic.
No, that's not gonna be next week, the week after.
Or the week after. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. The week after. But let's move on. Let's go back to free will. And what was the other subject? By the way, flying saucers, good to see you, of course. Like we should get into
no, it's fine.
Yeah, because everyone always thinks that I start talking about they go so sensitive. I'm like, guys.
I want to say that I'm not like taking anything here like out of proportion. I'm enjoying listening to you, and it's for me, it's like education, it's idea, it's things that other people think about, and I want to educate myself more about this subject.
Sure,
it's not that I'm, I am here to create a counter argument to everything. No. I myself, I'm here in order to ask questions and
no. We always have the great the great conversations. Look, we started talking about that. I'll show you the funniest thing. They just cut this off 15 minutes ago. See, I think you should be able to see this image.
What's this?
It says Instagram has disconnected the stream. Right? I didn't turn it off.
1 hour.
I'm on oh, that's why
it happened right now.
Yeah, Instagram only allows you to go for an hour.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong.
I thought we were saying things, and again, okay. All right.
No, it even says it right there. After 1 hour for most users.
You're right. I should have read the second sentence. Hilarious. Okay.
I mean, you can do another stream. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. This was my first time able to stream it to that.
I'm glad you got it.
Yeah. I mean, eventually we'll.
Hey, Spin.
Hopefully, I'll be able to figure it all out before the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'd like to get your take on the tens of millions of Jews that were killed.
Oh my God, are we gonna talk?
No, dude, we're not. No, we're not. We're not getting. We're moving. First of all, we weren't talking. Flying saucer, and Ben and I, when we brought that we weren't. That was no conspiracies we were talking about. We were talking about what it means is a definition of something, whether it's a spiritual covenant or a covenant of the flesh, right? And I was saying that in this reality, both exist. But
using it as an example, right?
Yeah,
and then it for some reason spiraled into the Jews. Yes.
Yeah, as it attaches to
Ben's still traumatized from the Saint Agatha rituals today that his people.
I just wanted his take.
Here, let's do this. Let me ask another question.
Why'd you kiss the skull? Why'd he kiss the skull?
Try to get us back to it. If your inspiration comes from an outside world you did not create, but the artwork that you create only exists through your deliberate efforts, so you're an artist, did the environment paint the picture or did your free will?
You're gonna have to say that again for me. Anyone want to answer?
Yeah, I got you. I'll do it one more time. This is
one more time.
It's a quick question. If your inspiration, what you draw in, comes from the outside world, and you pull it in, and that for the outside world that you didn't create, but the artwork only exists through your deliberate efforts, did the environment paint the picture, or was it you through your free will?
This is like the question. This is like the question. This is like the dichotomy, but not like between
paradox.
People say I want to close my eyes. Like I can manifest anything. I manifest. It's like no, dude. Manifestation happens with the eyes closed. So you close your eyes and you manifest. So you would want to do emotions first, like feel what true happiness feels like, and breathe into that, and you would start seeing visions, right? And the goal is that to one day open your eyes and materialize the dreams in which you manifested. You know what I mean? Right. So that's chicken and egg. Then
let's assume that you painted the picture. Now that's the actualization. You've actually done something. Was it actually the environment that you observed around you that painted the picture, or was it your free will?
Maybe you were just a tool of God to create some, well, it was your free will to do it or not do it. That's the thing. Because imagine how many great paintings and great books and great movies just haven't been made because someone decided not to do it.
Is it maybe a category error?
I mean, I don't know.
To ask between the two. So it's like, is it the environment painting the picture?
No, it's a great philosophical question. I think these are. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. If you start doing like the debate, yeah, you can find objections to any truly philosophical, because everything's circular. Remember,
right?
But no, like it's an amazing philosophical question, like for sure.
Yeah,
but
I have quite a few of these.
You know, something exists, and then you get inspired, but you exercise your free will. Now, you don't have free will to get inspired; it just happens. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
right.
Like,
this
oh my
is
God,
the point.
I feel this.
Yeah.
You know, but then you have the free will to create it. But in creating
this is like
something,
the trophy for wisdom, right? Do you get a trophy because you're wise? Because essentially you had an epiphany and you figured something out that you
have to
observe, or is acting upon it worth a trophy?
But you don't. This is a huge thing. It's, you know, people move to the Amazon or move to the mountains of Tibet or move to India, and they find their peace and they stay there. But what is the actual value of something you've never shared upon the world? That's why when I said the throat chakra, so you express your artistic expression of life. Maybe it's in painting, maybe it's in poetry, maybe it's in whatever the case may be. But if you don't ever go, is someone eating yogurt? Someone scraping the bottom of a yogurt.
Might be my phone or making sounds or something. I don't know.
Oh, sounds like someone's enjoying a potentially blueberry Greek yogurt. Anyway,
I mute myself when I'm not talking.
So you know, it's like it's like the
well. Let's take it to the morality portion here. If the moral rule is invented by society before you are born, obviously the morals of the culture and the tribe, but you only uphold it through your own daily self-control, right? So you're choosing, supposedly. Are you just a rule following product of your culture or a free agent of honor? So are you following the rules because your culture created the rules, or are you following the rules because you're an honorable free agent?
Depends on who's you.
Well, the you is the guy,
and every time you can
the
do
guy
both
who
in the
exists
same
in the
day.
society. You exist in a society.
Yeah,
the
but
laws
there's
are the
no
law.
Yeah, but you can do both in the same day, in the same hour. You can conform to the rules of society's morals, you know, ethics code, and then literally 1 second later, I can completely do the opposite. And then, you know what I mean? So it's free. Like, that's the thing about the free will, right?
But isn't conformity the opposite of free will?
No, it's a choice to conform or not to conform.
Well, conformity would say that you have formed according to the conscientious objective of the society or whatever framework. And so if that be the case, you're just essentially a good little doggy.
Yeah, but that doesn't, that's just a big equivocation of saying you conform, and the antithesis is you do the opposite of what you just said. But again, you choose which one, and you choose which one on every subject is the thing. Like, for example, like you're not completely right wing or completely left wing, right? Politically, you have some ideas here. Now, some people would just blindly stick to one thing, right? I'm not going to name any names. And other people decide their own minds on every single things. And some people are completely on the opposite side too of not naming names, you know? So, you know, we decide, right? So, you know, but again, the question is that Clay, I think the bigger, like, one step up question is why do you accept the Hegelian, the false dichotomy? Do you accept these as the only two options, you know, or do you have the free will?
Is it a category error? Right. Yeah.
Gentlemen, can I give my opinion?
Yeah, of course. This is why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that to answer the question, it's definitely free will. And I think that it really the code you're following only gets value as it's being exemplified or acted out upon. So it could be like in theory and abstract in mind, you know what I mean? But if no one's ever doing it, then it has no value.
I like that because that goes to the point of virtue, because then you actually can observe what power the law itself has. I like
Well,
that.
action.
Can I
Action,
stop
right?
the conversation for a second? Howard, just mute yourself, brother.
Is it fucking up?
Can I
Yeah,
also
your
ask
mic
one
is
more
like
question?
really
Whatever it is.
windy.
Yeah, because I can barely hear you guys. You're crackling up. But yeah, I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, Howard, you're hot miking. And just one more question. I know tonight's like the like stoicism, paganism, like night and stuff like that. Do you guys ever do like a Bible night where I could call in and just like ask questions about that, or is that
No,
this too?
this wasn't. This was about free will and fate and how that all worked. The rest of that just got brought in, so you can certainly talk about what you want to talk about.
Right. I noticed like I was listening throughout the night. People are asking whatever. So like going forward, is it cool?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any objection.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially we try to keep it towards the philosophical, because the political and religious stuff, both of those fall under the category of philosophy. So to touch on religious is okay, but to keep it in the framework of like we're trying not to get too caught up into these other things. But the topic tonight specifically, fate and free will. Yes. So
For
yes,
sure.
you're welcome
Is
to
there
talk
a
about
night
it.
where you guys just go Bible and you guys just like debate stuff like that?
Not
Yeah, we do
Omar,
that all.
Omar does quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Omar would do.
I
would
never
it.
do. I would lose all Bible debates.
Omar, what nights
Yeah.
do you do that?
I mean, I generally we've been sending like one-on-one. What's your? I've got to know what the question is or the idea.
Well, I've listened. I just found like this channel and the Raging Tomato or whatever. So I've listened to all. Yeah, I've listened to all three of you on like a bunch of different panels, just like a ton of videos recently. And I think you all have interesting inputs. But I just, like I said, I noticed the title was like, and you'd been saying recently, this is specifically like your stoicism / like
The great
like
mysteries.
non-biblical. You know, I didn't want to like
we tap
change
into
the
biblical
subject. You know,
no, we tap into biblical, but we get into things on like on a more esoteric and metaphysical component of it. Like we're not limited to the church father interpretations. No one's using an appeal to an authority. No one's saying, well, you're
just trying not to get hung up, is what.
Yeah,
it is.
no one's getting hung up on the meta.
Yeah.
And what I would say is the meta. What someone else would say is the definitive argument. Okay, because we're not actually here having a debate. So I mean, Clay and Ben kind of went into it a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think Ben was actually. I gotta say, like, Ben was not trying to trigger that, but it happened, and that's because they haven't had their full debate on Odinism versus Christianity.
And you are right about that, Omar. Yeah, you are right.
As a brother, you guys have to have the argument. Odinism versus Christianity. Which one has a higher morality or better, whatever that? But something that doesn't have to do with
something. I don't know if morality.
You guys. Well, again, whatever.
I get what you're saying.
I loved every fucking second of that.
I was like looking to figure out how to like. I have no ability to stop this. Clay was yelling at his mic. It was cut now, and I heard penis children, and I was like, because he was talking anyway.
You did mute him though
on accident.
I was
trying to
nice excuse. Oh, it's just
no. What I did was I thought that you.
I have to go. I have to go out and come back in. My camera just went out. I'll be right back.
I was trying to clip it and move it to the. I thought you could grab the names and move them to the screen itself as opposed to moving around.
Trying to put everyone in the back chat, and accidentally Clay got shut down for a sec.
I get into a lot of the debates like very very detailed debates in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity.
Do
right now
so this is the only like open panel night though. So next night,
they're mostly all. panels except for Tuesday.
Yeah, no.
Which one
Raging
should I
Tomato,
come into? Which one
No,
should
no.
I come into with the Bible questions? That's what I need.
ask your. Well, we can set one up. I mean, but tell me what's the biggest question?
I mean, honestly, there's so
Yeah.
many different. I think it would be like I don't even
Give
want
it
to
one
give it
second.
away right
Give
now.
it 1 second
'Cause-
till Clay comes back, because Clay was going to want to hear this also.
Well, honestly, too, boys. Like I specifically asked the first question about like the framing of like the show, just because like it's already late. I would have called in like 2 hours ago, but again, I didn't want to.
No, it's better later, because later Balderson, we've been 4 hours and we have gone, you know, the conversation, the debate, not debate, I'm sorry,
let Clay in.
Topic.
Let Clay in.
Oh, sorry.
My point is though, I think like all the questions I have will be interesting and they'll take a while. And honestly,
Let's
it's
start
too late
one
tonight for me.
It's
but
not. You're psyching yourself out, because
No,
if you're going, if you're,
I have to be up
it's
early.
it's 1:30 here too. But unless you have a script that you are going through,
No.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Unless I'm not accusing. Unless someone has a script that they need to go through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then there has to be a question that you have that you would think is the biggest question or the most important question to you.
All right, one question, because I feel like I could ask you a ton.
Well, let's see. Maybe I don't have any idea, or maybe you completely reject what I say and then you never come back, or maybe you love it.
All right, my number one question for you would be like, where do you think, and like you can go about this like from the Bible angle, just from genetics, or just from whatever you believe, is how, like, where do you think the concept of different races came from? Do you think it was like originally two black people that like had albino kids, or like how are there even different races? And I didn't even want to like I wanted to ask you.
That's a great question.
I can answer that. I can answer that right now.
So
that's an easy one.
I mean, he asked me first, and then you can. Well, you're going to say biblical, but that doesn't mean I'm going to say that.
No, that's not what I was going to say. But go ahead. No, go.
Well, you're not going to say the races come from the three sons of Noah.
No. Well, so that's no, because race isn't. No. Race is not something in the Bible at all.
Let's all take turns.
Well, if the whole
just share your perspective and pass.
Yeah.
It's 1500 to 1800 chattel slavery. That's literally the answer.
Wait, no. You understand my question? I'm saying like, how was there ever like, do you believe that like there was originally like brown people and some of them got lighter from no sun?
Clay does not recognize the differences between us.
No,
so that is his answer.
I guess here's a better question.
Well, let me answer the question real quick. Let me just answer it. Let me just answer real quick.
Clay's answer. That's truly how he feels.
Yep. Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, you know, the biblical story of Noah and the post flood with the three sons, you know, et cetera, like could be true to a certain extent, but it would not be exclusive that they were the only ones. For example, that story it could happen about global flood, but there are many other people that had many other ways of living, because according to, you know, the Nephilim also lived through that as well, right? Some of them. And so I would say that the reasons why we have different peoples, and I think there have been different creations. Like I think there have been different peoples and different creations. So whether it's the concept of Noah's flood combined with the Anunnaki creating man at one time, or it's the ancient Egyptians versions, many of these things can be true at the same time. It's hard to argue with like very old history that triangulates.
Our current race, our current timeline, 2000 AD, where do you think those started from?
The Gregorian calendar?
We have Asians, whites, blacks, etc.
Hold on. You're saying where do I think?
Where specifically, where did the different races come from? Because right there, you just gave me a bunch of alternative theories. And like, I don't know if you
there'd be different creations, would be different races. That's no, I mean different races of different types of peoples. Yeah. I'm talking about different. I think there were different types of people that were created at different times over hundreds of thousands of years. Some existed, some don't. You're saying like, where did the different races of this humanoid, or you're saying where did the time come from? You're saying,
oh, so you would say like just the normal kind of evolution answer of like just, you know, a couple hundred, like 400 to a million years ago, you know, just one race evolved into, you know, eventually like whites and blacks.
No, I think we have DNA proof that would say that there's changes that were 25,000 years ago. There were changes, there were distinct DNAs that started to merge and evolve, like R1